Welcome to a brand new episode of Girl, Geek, and the Gay, the show that is apparently very poorly named.
Wait, why? Oh, but
Really?
why? It's not our fault.
I blame the Megan. I am Jose. Here to my left, I have the beautiful Jaime.
Hola.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I had a wonderful morning today. What the hell? Stop. No, I just woke up in a good mood. I think I'm just in a good mood. I'm being a little sassy, but I'm sorry. Stop. Is this why you're here now? We're gonna get copyright stricken or something. But real quick before we jump into it, or before I figure out how you're doing, I want to remind people that of course we post timestamps on both YouTube and on the platforms, the podcast platforms, so you're able to kind of jump to different places just by clicking on Spotify is upgraded. So now if you click on the timestamp, you're able to jump forward to where you want to be. So we're going to talk about a few things. So that's why, if you want to skip it, you can. And I just wanted to remind you guys of that. So
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome. How are you, Jose?
I am doing pretty good.
Are you?
Can't complain, really. I had a week.
Yeah.
That's really all I can say.
Yeah.
But I got my new Xbox Series X.
Oh, okay. Did you buy a PlayStation as well? Or?
No.
Okay.
Because I can't find the goddamn PlayStation.
Oh, okay, got you. Because when you sent me that message, I thought it was a PlayStation. I don't know why. I didn't read. I didn't even look at the picture. I was like, oh, you got one. Congratulations. That was it.
Wow.
Anyway, how have you been enjoying it?
Well, the Xbox became available for a little bit through Amazon Prime because they did a priority for Prime members.
Oh, cool.
So bots just didn't buy it all up.
Oh, yeah.
So, by April 1st, because I think they only did it through March 31st, like the last week of March or something, or last few days of March.
Yeah.
And, by April 1st, there were no more.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got it for the actual price that it cost.
Yeah.
And then I looked for the PlayStation. PlayStation still like $1,000, and I'm like, I'm not paying $1,000 for this.
Yeah. One of my friends bought it recently from PlayStation, the website themselves. Yeah. And kind of in the same almost type of scenario. I don't know if it was like a special deal, but it was more like it became available and he just ordered it. Yeah. And that's kind of what I did with my Switch when I bought the OLED one. Like just one day I was like, hey, let me just check to see if the Switch is available on Amazon. And it was straight from Amazon. Like it wasn't like a vendor or anything like that. So yeah, I took advantage too.
Yeah. I signed up for the newsletter for the notifications from PlayStation, from Sony. So when they become available, I'm supposed to get an email.
Shit.
Haven't gotten shit.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But I got, thankfully, since the Xbox is playback compatible, it basically cloned my old Xbox onto the new one.
Oh, cool.
So I have all of the games that I already had on my previous Xbox on this one, and they're all upgraded.
Good.
Like they all come with graphical upgrades.
Oh, okay. And I was just about to ask that, I was just thinking about that because I'm like, damn, like a lot of the games that they release are both on the, like, for example, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. Yeah. It's just like a little bit better. And so that's why I was like, is it even worth it? Like if you're buying it, but if you're able to transfer all your stuff over just easily, then that's great.
Yeah, because I already transferred over like all the Tomb Raider games, so I got all the Tomb Raider games. I still haven't played them, and I really enjoy them.
Oh.
But I've been busy with.
Like you're starting from one?
Yeah,
from the original?
No, not the original.
Okay.
Just all the remakes.
Oh, okay.
Rise of the Tomb Raider, the I don't know what the hell they're called. But that original, that remake trilogy.
Oh, got you. So like the recent releases of them, though.
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it. Because originally they were a PlayStation exclusive, right? Oh, wow.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. Wow.
With when everybody was just crushing on Lara Croft.
Yeah. In the beginning.
But I got Dying Light 2. So Dying Light was one of my favorite games on the original Xbox.
Okay. Tell me about it because I don't know anything about it.
Dying Light is a first-person parkour zombie game.
Okay. Are you the zombie parkour?
Yes. You're a parkouring zombie.
Yes.
Who does backflips off of other dudes.
Correct. Okay.
No, but this one is a little more story-oriented.
Okay.
So while the first one was a lot of fun, this one does kind of focus a little more on story. And there's different different choices you can make and different dialogue options. I don't understand the dialogue options though, because so far like nothing has changed. But I'm also in the very beginning. Like I just barely got a flashlight, so
okay.
I was really annoyed in the beginning because I didn't have a flashlight.
Okay.
And Dying Light is it's a zombie game, of course.
Yeah.
But once night comes, the zombies get more aggressive.
Okay.
And these things called nightmares come out.
Oh.
And they chase you.
Wow.
And it gets very intense, like very intense chase scenes.
Are they just like a different version of a zombie, or is it just like a whole different being altogether?
I mean, they don't look like the zombies.
Okay.
They look kind of like their facial features from the vampires in Blade 2.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Yeah.
Well, oh, you mean like the vampires of the vampires, the ones that would eat the vampires, and they would kind of open up.
Yes.
Yeah.
With that mandible that just spread out.
I remember. Yes.
Oh my. But
that's his job.
But yeah, so those things come out and they chase you and they're fast.
Right.
And yeah, so it gets really intense.
Yeah. So like the whole point. So you need a flashlight to be able to keep you alive through this.
No, you just need a flashlight to see, because when it gets dark, it gets dark.
Oh wow! How long has the game been out?
Dying Light 2 just came out.
Oh, okay.
Maybe a month ago.
Yeah,
maybe not even. Like it's very new.
Yeah,
but it's been in development for forever. But the first one also kept getting support throughout its lifetime.
Oh,
like they kept releasing expansion packs and downloadable content and stuff.
Right. Wow, crazy. Sounds like a really interesting game.
It's a really fun game.
Yeah, maybe I'll look at some gameplay or something like that online.
Yeah, and I also got FIFA 22 because Mexican.
Okay.
Dude, so for the first time ever in my life, I played an online game, like my very first online game on this, and I lost my very first online game
on FIFA.
On FIFA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I always win my first online game.
Oh, okay.
In every game.
Oh, all right.
And I lost.
Wow.
Because I couldn't figure out the goddamn defense.
Oh,
like I just couldn't do it for the life of me. The guy was literally just from the kickoff just running through. All my players. And I was like, why is nobody why are you moving out of the way?
The soccer game sounds confusing in my head, considering I don't know much about soccer, so maybe that's why I'm just like confused about it.
So the final score was like 8-6.
Oh wow.
And I was like, this is a very high scoring game.
That wasn't that bad though, considering you got 6.
No, but still, it was like
you lost that one.
I shouldn't have lost this game. I just could not figure out this defense for the life of me.
So it was versus a real person,
yes,
right? Oh, okay.
It was an online game.
Got it.
But also finally got to watch the first episode of Atlanta.
Okay, yeah. How was it?
It's such a good show, but it's bizarre.
Okay.
Especially because like some episodes have nothing to do with anything else.
Oh, okay. It's just like, focused around that.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't even have any of the characters from the actual show.
Oh, weird.
So the first episode of this was like that.
Yeah.
Where it follows a little kid who his parents get called in for because he got in trouble at school.
Yeah.
So his parents get called in, and like the mom is like such a bitch.
Oh.
And the grandpa slaps the kid. So they call social services on the kid, and like the mom, like as soon as social services comes to their house, the mom's like, take him, and like she just kicks the kid out.
Oh my god.
And they go and drop this little black kid off to this white lesbian couple who are like they cook, they make their own kombucha.
Oh my god!
And they basically make these kids work.
Oh,
and then like the lesbian couple tries to kill the kids. Like they have 3 little black kids.
What the fuck?
And then they try to kill them.
Why?
It's such a weird show, and at the same time, it's so funny. And you're watching it, and you don't understand why you're laughing. But
it's just funny
because it's a very dark humor.
Yeah.
But it's so well made.
This sounds crazy.
Yeah, like Donald Glover is just such a great writer.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that they've kept the same director through the whole first 2 seasons, and it looks like he's back for this one too.
That's cool. I mean, he was already ready to do a series. It sounds like so. Maybe I'll check it out.
It's a really
sounds
good
crazy.
show. What's his name? Hiro Murai. Oh, yeah. He's. I really enjoy this show.
Cool. What is it on?
It's on Hulu. The first 2 seasons are on Hulu.
Okay, cool. And then the third one you're watching.
The third one I just purchased the season pass.
Oh, okay, cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
If you love it that much, that's great.
I highly enjoy $20 for all episodes. Yeah, it's worth it.
It's like me and Drag Race.
Yeah. basically.
Yeah.
I get it.
Well, because again, like we talked about, like they don't put it on everything that they said they were going to, or be consistent with it. So that's the only thing that sucks is now you got to kind of dig around and figure out where you buy it from, type of thing.
Yeah,
you know? Which is fine with me. Like I'd rather just pay for a season than pay for a monthly app that I'm not going to use anymore.
Exactly.
You know? So. Yeah.
Also, I watched a terrible ass fucking movie.
Oh man, wait.
God fucking damn it.
But that's spoilers for later, right?
Fuck, I'm mad. I'm still mad. I was afraid that the anger was gonna kind of die down a little bit, but no, I'm still pretty mad about this.
Okay, cool. Well, so that's part of the show later today. Calm your ass down.
How are you doing? How was your week?
It was a good week. I can't recall anything that I've done because I don't think I've done anything really aside from work. Like that was the main focus. Oh, yesterday we went to like a friend's farewell / birthday party because he's moving back to Mexico, and he's gonna live out there for a few years to like figure out some situations.
He's getting deported.
No,
he doesn't want you guys to know, but he's getting deported.
Well, no, but he's going through like the official process now. The official process of. He's flying back. Stop! You're Mexican, damn it! What the fuck?
I know. That's why I'm telling you.
Yeah, no.
I know how this process goes.
So he's trying to fix his paperwork, right? He's trying to fix his paper, but in order to do that, he has to go back, be in the country for however long it's going to be. It seems like it's going to be a while. So, so we went to that.
There's a loophole.
Is there?
Yeah.
What you have to be married or something?
Well,
or what are we going to say? What's the loophole? Should you be talking about this?
Maybe not. Just ask me later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. but yeah, so he's gonna come back. I mean, it's a real life story. That's crazy. He's married, and actually, so he's a friend, but his husband is who I'm closer with. I've known him longer, and anyway, he's a really good friend, and it's definitely like a kind of a daunting, unsure situation. Uncertainty. It's like. But I mean, they were in good spirits. It was a fun like little party we went to last night and just hung out, and and we were at like a restaurant. There were quite a bit of people there too. So it was still like getting used to people. I think it's like still something that is always in the back of our heads. But we've also have really like not been wearing masks like as often as we were before, right? Like we chilled on the mask and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of the like helping us get over that kind of that hurdle of being unsure about stuff. But so far I'm not sick unless I'm just
oh great. I'll let you know in a couple of
days. I'll let you know tomorrow. But besides that, no, I've been chill. I'm still playing video games. I got back on Injustice 2 mobile again because of the release of the Batwoman who drowned.
Yeah.
She's pretty
a terrible name.
It is. It's Batwoman the Drowned.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because he's Batman, the Batman who laughs. So it's kind of like that same idea.
But it still wouldn't Batwoman that drowned make more sense?
Yeah, but they try to be fancy, They just called her the Drowned, so maybe that sounds better. They should just call her the Drowned, and I would have been or Drowned, like would have been fine. But she's interesting. She has like in the game she has a Aquaman's like fighting style, but she has the appearance of Batwoman, and she has her like Batwoman voice and everything like that in the game. So she's pretty cool. Like she's been fun. She was one of those pay pass characters, so I paid the $10 for it.
Wow.
It's only $10. I mean, as opposed to $100, but and don't. That's
how they get you.
That is how they get you. It's one of those things that they got me with. But she's really cool. I like her design. I like the way she moves. There are still some issues with the update that came out for that game. Like we didn't get our raid rewards, so you get rewards when you beat a raid as a group because you're in a league. We didn't get our rewards for that for like our recent raid that we did, and then when the Batwoman the Drowned when she does this, she floods the whole stage in water. It looks really cool. Like you're battling underwater.
Yeah.
Like at a certain point, it like fucks the game. Like it does not like you cannot move. Like you get special abilities like with Batman who laughs underwater. Like it doesn't make sense, but like he transforms into like a chaos form or some shit like that, and then he's supposed to be like more active, like hard hitter type of thing, and he sucks because he can't respond. Yeah. It's like it's not working well. So
that's been unfortunately the graphical issues with the game. So, but besides that, nothing else. Just that video games. That's all I do.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Right.
I do want to talk about last Sunday.
Yes.
What happened?
Yes.
Okay. So
wait, the Oscars.
Well, I was gonna say I went to McDonald's and got free ice cream.
That's what I was thinking you were gonna say, but I wanted to make sure.
Well, first actually, I went to Popeye's Chicken.
Oh my god!
Because I wanted a chicken sandwich.
Okay.
And they ran out of chicken.
Oh yeah.
Like, what, you guys sell chicken? Like, why are you still open if you're out of chicken?
So, and I'll say from the perspective of because I used to work in food industry, right? Like, there was a day where we couldn't make coffee because our hot water wasn't working, or something that wasn't working. That we couldn't make our normal.
Also sell cold coffee.
We sell cold coffee. Well, we couldn't make the cold coffee because you have to have hot coffee to make the cold coffee.
I did not know that.
It's a special brew. Yeah. So we brew it and then we put ice in it. We put it in the fridge. Right, so that's so just FYI. Now you know.
That always makes you think of. Do you ever watch the movie Clerks?
I think so. Maybe
there is a line where the guy's like, "How is your ice machine broken? So am I supposed to drink this coffee hot?" Yeah. And I always thought it was such a funny line, and now it's yeah.
It makes sense when you realize that it makes sense, and I guess it makes more sense for me. There's also cold brew that you brew overnight, but that's an overnight situation, you know.
Yeah.
And what were we talking about that? So I understand because there have been times where we can't make coffees, hot coffee, and I'll be like, "Would you like an Americano?" You know, but even that doesn't work. Actually, I couldn't remember what we couldn't make. I think it was a lot. I think we could make everything but the hot coffee, but people really wanted hot coffee that day. All of a sudden, instead of frappuccinos, like they do all the time.
If you're out of chicken, you're not going to get more chicken. So why keep the place?
That's a good point. Yeah, popcorn.
So I went to McDonald's across the street. Mm-hmm. Terrible chicken sandwiches. Just terrible chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
But when I got to the window, the guy was holding a soft serve ice cream. And he was like, "I have an extra one. Do you want it?" I was like, "Yes."
Not gonna say no.
Yeah. So I got a free ice cream. But also the Oscars.
Oh yeah,
the Oscars. That happened.
A real thing. Yes. Well, what was your response? Okay, what was your response to it?
Chris Rock is my absolute favorite comedian.
I
love.
So you're gonna go
Chris
off right
Rock.
now.
Like, I absolutely love Chris Rock, and I was thinking about it. And I was like, look, if you would have slapped Adam Sandler, I would have been good with it. But you know, I love Chris Rock, and the thing is, the joke was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a funny joke.
Like, it wasn't.
Wait,
why wasn't it funny though?
Like, it just wasn't funny.
Also, who knows G.I. Jane nowadays?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really remember.
Plus, I knew that Jada had alopecia.
Yeah,
you know that
I didn't know.
Yeah. So she's been pretty vocal about it. But I mean, it was still an overreaction. It was definitely an overreaction, especially because you're laughing at him making fun of everybody else.
Yeah.
But then it comes around. And of course, like, now there's video of like Jada's reaction to the slap, or how
Will Smith was laughing at the time.
Well, no. There's video of Jada reacting to the slap.
Oh, okay.
And how she laughed. Like,
did she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that part. Wow.
One, like, Jada could take care of herself, bro.
Yeah.
And I think that for Will, it was just all the jokes. That I think that joke was just a camel that the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Because he's been getting so much shit, because of Jada sleeping around and shit.
Yeah. And it's funny you say that because we listened to Randy Rhoads and there was a caller.
Isn't that a wrestler?
No, she's a political commentator, I would say. That's the only way I can describe her in my head. She's not a wrestler at all. It might be actually because there's a few Rhoads like. Yeah, anyway. And there was a guy that came on and said that, like, that slap wasn't really at him or the joke. It was at everything that's been going on in his life, and I agree. It was way an overreaction. It honestly, and it was funny when Adolfo was showing, because I wasn't watching the Oscars. Like, what the
Nobody
fuck?
watches the Oscars.
No, I was going to watch it for the Encanto part.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, I might have to Google that because I still haven't seen it to this day. But when I saw that, it just kind of put me in this mood that I'm like, look, there's already too much shit going on. I don't want to see Will Smith smacking Chris Rock like on TV. Like, it was so uncomfortable. It was such a weird situation, and I understand it wasn't like I didn't know about her situation. There's also. I didn't know about her situation. I don't think it like he was laughing the whole time. You know, like there was a lot that was to me like it just didn't need to get to that point. Like if you could be mad, you know, you could be upset. Actually, Chris Rock probably would have got more shit about it had Will Smith not gone up to him and slapped him in the face. You know, because of the insensitiveness of the situation. Now that said, I've also coincidentally a few days before the Oscars, and the videos come out now. It was Jada speaking about her being bald and how she doesn't care about being bald and she doesn't care about what people were going to say about her, right? So while she's been vocal about her situation, about what she's going through with alopecia, right? Yeah. She's also been vocal about not caring. So her reaction seems to have what triggered Will Smith in that moment, you know?
But her reaction wasn't even like, I'm hurt.
Yeah, it was just like an eye roll.
Yeah, she just rolled her eyes like,
yeah.
And it was definitely an overreaction. Like, that didn't need to happen.
It really didn't.
It wasn't even a good joke.
Yeah. And again, it was uncomfortable. You know, it was so uncomfortable to make that situation so uncomfortable. You know, like it didn't need. And mind you, think of it in like daily life, right? If we're at work and somebody comes up to you and slaps you, who gets arrested, right? Like that person that slaps you. You know, like it's. You escalated it to the point where it shouldn't have been escalated. You know, if you were mad, you could be mad. You could leave. You can walk out. You could go grab a drink.
I did think it was pretty funny though that they're like, oh, the Oscars asked him to leave, and he said no. And I was like, you could do that? They're like, oh, you're gonna have to leave. He said, no, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the whole speech, and I have my beliefs, right, about what I believe in, you know, God, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
I don't like that people use their beliefs as a cop-out for what they have done, or even try to say that, oh, the devil made me do it type of thing. You know, like...
That was a terrible movie, too. We've been through this.
It's such a cop-out. It's such a, like, I'm being a vessel for God. Yeah. Like, that's... don't do that. Because, again... I could have my beliefs, you could have your beliefs, everybody can have their beliefs, but once you start saying that those things are the ones that are influencing you to react or not react in a certain way, it could be misinterpreted, you know?
But isn't it funny too how, you know, you say, oh, I am a vessel for God, and people are like, wow, you know, what a stand-up guy. But if you go, I'm a vessel for Cthulhu, people are like, what the fuck's that? This guy's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What's the fucking difference?
And there you go. See, exactly. And that's exactly the thing, right? Like you can't say that about anything else but God. And we're going down a whole different route, but it's just like don't do that, because to me you're making yourself look worse, but of course other people won't see it that way. Yeah. You know, it's almost like when like, you know, certain preachers preach what they preach and then don't want to let the homeless in to stay at fucking church, you know, like type of thing. It's such hypocrisy. I think that's
actually illegal.
To not let people in?
Yeah.
Oh, there was like a flood or something that happened in some thing I'm thinking about, and they weren't taking people in, is where my brain is going with it, but we know. Yeah. That was fun.
What I did enjoy though was all the comedians coming to the defense of Chris Rock. Yeah. And how some of them just went in hard on Smith and Jada. Yeah. There was one guy who he has a podcast and I forget what it's called, but his first 2 minutes were just talking shit on Jada. Yeah. But he was also dressed in like chainmail armor and stuff, which I just found funny. Yeah. But yeah, like just 2 minutes straight of just Jada jokes.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say, because I've already had my feelings about the Smiths, you know, but I do have to say that, like, if you're not okay with something, it's okay for you to not be in that environment and I'm talking about like with people, for example, right? If there's an issue between Will Smith and Jada, right? Like if there's something Will Smith doesn't like, he doesn't have to accept those things, you know? And vice versa, right? Like if she doesn't like certain things that he does, they don't have to accept those things about each other. A lot of the reason I'm bringing that up is because there was also that conversation about like, well, she gets away with so much in her relationship. That's none of our fucking business. Yep. I don't give a fuck about that, right? Like if he's willing,
I don't either. I care about him slapping my favorite comedian.
Well, when it gets to that point, exactly. So if he really has an issue, and this is the reason why this transpired, you know, like then ultimately, he's the one with the issue, right?
She's just tired of being called a cuck.
That's what it sounds like. But okay, so if he's not happy with that, what is he can resolve that issue not by slapping somebody, by
you can hit Adam Sandler. I'm good with that.
Don't slap anybody. That's not the point.
Unless it's Adam Sandler.
Leave that situation. Don't if something is making you feel a certain way and you're not happy about it, it's okay to go. It's okay to separate yourself from that situation. If you're okay with it and you say you're okay with it, then you're okay with it. You cannot say that you're not okay with it if you're not okay with it. That's the issue. That's the real issue. You make an excellent point. Sorry, I'm yelling.
No, you're fine.
Thanks, I know.
So let's talk about today's show, shall we?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we have the news.
Like the what?
Hold on. All right, so we have news.
Okay.
We have DMZ.
Yes, sir.
We also have Halo.
Yes, sir.
The premiere of MoonKnight.
Yes, sir.
And holy fucking shit, this movie.
Stop, Morbius. Spoilers ahead, by the way, for like everything. Just FYI, guys. So,
yes, there will be spoilers.
As a reminder, there also is going to be a JaimesPokedex today.
And
thank you very much.
JaimesPokedex. I just don't know whether to include it or not.
It happens every week, Jose. God damn it.
Just in case.
Ask me.
So first off, I want to start off the news by saying fuck all these stupid ass April Fool's news joke shit that went on that I had to fucking sift through.
That's funny.
Like holy fucking shit, man. Like if I didn't have enough work to do, now I got to read a whole fucking article and just be mad at the fucking fact that it's not even real news.
Why don't you just skip April 1st? Like why don't you just not do that day?
Because some of the stuff that comes up on my feed is from like a day ago, and I just don't look at the date.
Oh, okay.
It's just like, oh, news. Oh, this looks interesting, and then it's like, oh, you son of a bitch.
Well, they got you.
Yeah, like one of them was about how Tom Holland has been cast as a doctor, and I'm like, no. and they're like, oh, Russell T. Davies is just gonna disregard everything that's happened in the past 60 years, and I'm like, no, he's not. Fuck you, and fuck you.
Delete.
All right, so moving on to actual news. Yes. The God of War TV series. You and I were just talking about God of War last week.
It's so weird.
And as soon as I got home, I got the notification because our phone listens to us.
Yeah.
And they're making a TV. Amazon Prime is bringing the adventures of Kratos to life.
Oh.
They're also looking to do a Mass Effect show, but no word on casting yet. Fans are already casting Batista.
As who? Kratos?
Yes.
No, why?
Atreus.
Well, I mean, no, but yeah. Well, but who knows if it's going to take place in his original timeline as opposed to the new timeline.
Well, I think they might start with the Greek mythology part. I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah. Because it's already like established and stuff like that.
But Batista doesn't even want to do Drax anymore because he doesn't want to be with a shirt off.
Yeah. And Kratos is just shirtless the whole time. He's basically Drax color too.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, I mean, no. I personally don't think so.
I don't think Batista's a good actor.
Yeah,
and he's great as Drax. Yeah. He is great as Drax, but I don't feel like it takes too much acting chops to be Drax.
Yeah, because he's just like
because he's very wooden. And like even his dialogue is very wooden. Like it's not. There's no depth to it.
Yeah, and Kratos is a very
he's a very deep character.
Yeah, like his storyline, like his anger. I mean, no, like that.
Yeah, there's layered.
Yeah, exactly. He freaking Bautista was in the Army of the Dead, right? And he was sad in there, and it was like it's kind of awkward, like it wasn't really a good.
It was not good.
I can't picture. I'm not saying Bautista. I'm just saying I can't picture who would play Kratos though. Like, cause that voice is so distinct.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I'm like, damn, like that's a very distinct voice for Kratos, and it always has been for Kratos. So it's just like, who would they even get remotely close with the look and that voice? So The Rock, watch. no, God, no! I would kill myself. I would protest that. I'm
that's
sorry.
Funny.
Yeah, fuck.
I think you just gave Amazon Prime their best idea yet.
Delete. We're gonna wipe this from the show.
So E3 has been canceled again. With the ESA planning on reviving it back in 2023. It was originally scheduled to be held this year in person, and in January it was shifted to be a digital event again. Now it seems to be completely canceled because COVID is still a thing, despite what people think.
Yeah.
So, a number of game industry professionals have reported testing positive after a game developer conference in San Francisco.
Oh, shit.
But Jeff Keighley was quick to announce his Summer Game Fest is still confirmed for June, claiming it'll show off a lot of first looks as well as big announcements. E3 is still expected to return in 2023 as both an online and in-person thing.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
E3, I've always wanted to go, but just so many people, and I don't have that kind of bandwidth. I can relate to that. It reminds me of Comic-Con, I went to Comic-Con one time and I was like, this is enough for me. Thank you. And we're there probably like the most of the weekend, I think. And I've always wanted to go to Comic-Con and I just don't think I have it in me.
It's honestly, it's just a big ass swap meet. That's what it is. Honestly, like, okay, you can talk about the panels, you can talk about those things, but you can't get into like half the panels or ever any of the panels. Like I didn't even try.
You can just watch them online.
Yeah, you can just watch them. I'd rather watch them like you get better views of it for sure, you know? And to me, it's not worth standing in line. I don't value like actors and things, like even going to concerts, like it's not really my, like, I'm not, oh my God, like I need to go see this person live. It's not my thing, I don't put that much value into it, where people need to stand in lines for hours to go see somebody. Nah, I'm good. I could just see it online, but it's honestly just that big ass swap meet. Cause I like that there are vendors. I like that vendors can go and, provide their art, be able to, make money and stuff like that. That's great. But you could do that down the street,
Yeah, or Frankenstein's.
Or like art walks, like smaller events, things like that. So, I mean, yeah.
I'm just not a fan of crowds.
That's a lot of people too.
Yeah. So this one's for you, and I'm pretty sure you heard of it. If not, Pokemon Musical.
Why?
Did you ever hear of this?
It sounds familiar, but now I'm not sure.
So Pokemon Live was a thing that happened in the year 2000.
Pokemon Live?
Yes. So it was a full-blown musical that toured the U.S. and was then localized for further international appearances over the next few years.
Oh.
The creators spent a lot of money on costumes for the Pokemon as well as building detailed puppets. But despite a camera crew following them around, it was never released on either VHS or DVD. But now Johnny V and Jamie D.
Okay.
Jamie D. Elms have released a documentary about the show with that combs through archival footage and interviewing former cast members.
Okay, that's interesting.
Pokemon Live: How Pikachu Nearly Took Broadway. That's the name of the documentary.
Okay. Is there a bunch of Pikachu suits like dancing and shit like that?
I haven't seen it, so
No.
I did save the link because official footage was never released, but you can find a bootleg recording of the entire performance with a cleaned up video and audio.
Wow.
That was released in 2020.
Wow.
So I will send that to you. It's about 2 hours long.
Got you. I was also poor, so maybe that's why I didn't get there. Like hear about it.
I didn't hear about this at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought.
And I was well into Pokemon at that point because, it came out like in '96 in the U.S. So I mean, I was into it, But yeah, poor.
Yeah, so I mean, it looks interesting, honestly.
That sounds cool.
And I watched a little bit of the beginning, and it looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm just gonna save this, and
yeah.
So I still have the link.
Am I weird for wanting to go to like? Yeah, I mean, of course. Am I weird for wanting to go to almost like a hologram concert of? And you got me thinking of, because I play Splatoon as well, right?
Okay.
And they have these two sisters called the Squid Sisters in that game, right? And they do performances, they do concerts like in their world, right? And I love them. Stop. You're gonna Google Squid Sisters? Anyway, no. Stop. You're destroying my adulthood. No. Anyway, they sing they sing almost like at a live concert, like in Japan and stuff like that. But it's like holograms because obviously they're cartoons, they're like animation, right? So I would go see that though, but not real people, not real people. And so that's what it kind of reminded me of. There's been 2 generations of the Squid Sisters, like the first 2 Squid Sisters, and then the next generation was the first one was.
This sounds like a 3D movie.
Well, it's a concert because they're performing their songs from the video.
But I mean,
game.
if you're saying like, you would go watch a hologram,
yeah, like a 3D
performance.
movie.
Yeah, that's a 3D movie.
Yeah, I would pay to go see that. Yeah.
All right.
So
we fixed it.
The first 2 were Callie and Marie, because calamari, and then the second generation was Pearl and Marina. And I guess that one's a little bit like you kind of have to think about it. It was like Pearl
Yeah.
Harbor type of thing, but Pearl and Marina. Marina was actually like an octoling, not an inkling in that one. So she was an octopus. You would probably love her too. I'm gonna go find that toy I have of her so you can enjoy. Stop. You would be so down for Marina too. Oh my god. I'm gonna show you a picture of Marina from Splatoon. You're like gonna fall in love.
Like Harlot Scarlet?
Oh my god. It's jumping all over the place. That's Marina.
Oh yeah. That totally does it for me.
She's your vibe. She's your vibe. She's cute though. She's really cute.
All right, moving on from that.
Moving on.
Very confused boner.
You make it boner-ish. And then default you have that boner and then I have that boner because of you. Cut that out.
So more series from HBO Max. They're reportedly working on a prequel to Stephen King's It novel.
Okay.
Welcome to Derry will be the title, delving into the origins of Pennywise the Clown,
I think we talked about
children
this
across generations. I vaguely remember this.
I thought you mentioned it last week.
Did I?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, well, we're getting it again.
Thank you.
No. We talked about The Shining last week.
Oh, okay, same thing.
Wrong Stephen King book.
But I remember this title. What was it called?
Welcome to Derry?
Yeah. What was the other one called? The Shining one.
The Shining?
No, the prequel to The Shining.
The Shining?
It was called The Shining? Well, no, then it wasn't it called a place like that it's gonna take place in? Like Westbrook or some shit like that? No. Stop looking at me like that. Okay, never mind. Okay, welcome to Derry.
Okay.
Is that what you said?
Speaking of The Shining, though, remember I mentioned that there was there was another movie?
Yeah, what's the name of that movie?
It's not a movie, it's a TV series.
What's the name of that TV series?
The Shining.
Is it just called The Shining?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I swear you said something different name with a W. No? Okay.
Either way, we're... Andy Muschietti, the director of the films, has stated that there is a whole mythology of the book that merits exploration. Mythology is something that always has opportunities to explore. It has been on Earth for millions of years. He's been in contact with humans for hundreds of years, every 27 years, so you can imagine the amount of material. So,
okay.
Yeah. I like the remakes of the movies.
Yeah.
The first one was a lot better than the second one.
Yeah.
Just like the TV series where the first part was better than the second part.
Yeah.
It's like once they become adults, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Do you feel like we need a whole universe though? Like that's what it becomes, you know? And
especially when you get to the ridiculousness of it.
Yeah, because it's science fiction. That's cool, you know. Like I love that stuff, but it's just too much.
But I don't need an astrological turtle that.
Yeah. I mean, he was a spider. Weird. Yeah. Was there really a turtle in it? Yeah. Or are you joking?
No, it's like it's the opposite of what it is. Like the Deadlights, it's like this turtle of life or something.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't need to do all that.
No.
Yeah.
You're good without it.
Yeah, because it is a good, scary movie. That's all it needs to be.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
So, did you hear about Bruce Willis's retirement?
No. Okay.
Well, Bruce Willis was just recently died. Well, his family recently came out and talked about how he has aphasia. And aphasia is... I mean, not necessarily a disease, but it's a mental degenerative condition.
Okay.
So it looks like he's had it for a while too.
Oh.
So aphasia basically it messes with his cognition. So he doesn't understand what he's doing. He's basically becoming an Alzheimer's patient, basically.
Wow.
And
or even dementia.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
dementia. That's actually more correct.
Yeah.
And the thing is, so. Aphasia is not something that's passed down. It usually happens like if there's a head injury or a stroke, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it looks though that he's had it because like in the last 2 years he did like 22 movies, but they were talking about how he had a handler with him at all times.
Oh wow!
And because there was sometimes where he'd be filming the movie and all of a sudden like he'd start looking around like, who are you people? Like what am I doing here? Like that kind of thing.
Wow.
He had to have headphones or Bluetooth, an earbud,
something inside it.
that so they could feed him lines.
Oh, wow.
And it was like he was always disoriented and like he just couldn't remember words. So he's in really bad shape. Wow. And it's honestly heartbreaking. Like,
that's sad. Yeah,
I love Bruce Willis and his really terrible movies.
Yeah,
the Razzies had they even created a whole category for him, like worst Bruce Willis movie, because he had just been doing all these video on demand movies. Basically.
Yeah.
And they recently, as soon as these news came out, though, they took away that category.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, because like at this point, it's been a while that he's been suffering through this.
Right. Yeah.
And it sucks though that his family just kind of let him.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
you can't help but think like using him a little bit.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It sounds like they were just like, well, we need money, like type of thing. I don't want to assume, but that's just kind of what it sounds like to me.
It's really sad, honestly.
Yeah,
and like I said, Die Hard, my favorite movie.
Yeah. And I mean, he's done well in other movies. I know you're not really a fan of like Unbreakable.
I do like Unbreakable.
Okay.
I wasn't a fan of Glass.
Okay,
Glass was shit.
Yeah, and Split.
I like Split.
Yeah, so I mean, he's done some really great movies. That's just kind of trippy to hear. I didn't know all that about him.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, like all these video on them, like movies that are going straight to, not DVD but video on demand.
Yeah.
Like it's he did it all with, just being fed lines.
Trippy,
which is sad.
Yeah, so sad.
Moving on.
Yep.
Sandra Bullock.
Okay.
Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Mm-hmm. America's Sweetheart is joining the DCEU. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
No, we don't know what project, but she's signed on.
She's in a recent movie that came out too with Channing Tatum
and Brad Pitt.
And Brad Pitt. Yeah. Okay.
And that movie took down the Batman.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. It
well, the Batman wasn't really in the movie, so that's cool. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I like her.
I mean,
and I like Channing Tatum.
Yeah. It's just, I'm just me. I'm bored. I'm just like, you guys, let's get new people in there. And I know Channing Tatum is not like really an old. I'm not saying like old as in like he hasn't been around for a while acting.
Yeah.
But it's just like, okay.
He has been for a while. He just hasn't been in like big things.
Yeah, Brad Pitt too. Like he's cool. Yeah, somebody new.
You know what? The Bullet Train movie.
It looks cool.
The more I see previews to it, the more I want to watch it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you've seen the whole movie. I feel like we saw one today, and I was like, okay, so why am I going to watch this movie? Because I just saw the whole thing.
I will watch it.
Yeah. No, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And plus, Brian Tyree Henry is in it too, and I really like him.
That's he played Fastos, right?
Yes, he did. Yeah. So Ezra Miller is a dick.
Yes, I heard about this, but go ahead.
So Miller was arrested last week for disorderly conduct at a bar.
They are a dick.
I've already mentioned that I don't like them.
Yeah.
Fuck ever.
Yeah. Jose.
I don't like them. I really don't like them.
Okay.
So he was harassing guests, taking the mic from people singing the karaoke, as well as yelling obscenities. Mm-hmm. He also tried to take darts from someone playing. That led to another scuffle. So he was arrested then. Then it came out that he also had the police called on him like the week before at another bar, but like he just wasn't arrested. He just got kicked out.
Yeah.
And then he's made the news again because he broke into the residence of the owners of the Airbnb that he's staying at, and he threatened them. He told them he was going to burn them alive, and he stole all their shit.
What the fuck?
There have been a total of 10 police calls about Miller since March 10th.
What the fuck?
That's impressive.
That's some shit. And of course he's rich. So what's happened,
Yeah.
Or they are, excuse me. Now the only thing, so basically the Flash is done is what you're saying.
I don't know, man.
Like we could have just got the Flash from the series in a fucking movie. He seems very wholesome. He seems like a very nice guy, and he's been the Flash for like 10 years, and you can't give him a fucking movie. Fuck you, DC. This is what's wrong. This is what's wrong. Anyway, that was my little rant.
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
That was my rant about that. I'm so mad about that. But I mean, here you go, Ezra Miller. You're welcome. You get him in the Flash movies.
I've never liked them.
I don't know enough about them like to be able to like really have a comment, but that's crazy. That's a crazy person. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, point. I mean, there was that thing where he choked out a woman 2 years ago.
Yeah, Yeah, like drunk as well,
Yeah.
right? And then on video,
and you know what? Like I looked at that though, and it looked like he was being playful at first.
yeah,
but
you're drunk.
but you still choked out a woman.
You're drunk, you know? Yeah.
All right, whatever.
So
Joker in Arkham.
What?
Joker in Arkham.
Like the TV series or something?
Yeah, so Matt Reeves has been considering whether Barry Keoghan Joker might return in the future.
So what you're saying is that this is a bigger universe than...
Yes.
Got it, okay.
He's confirmed that he's not an Easter egg for the next movie, which will conflict with reports that he wants to make the next movie with Harley Quinn also.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so...
Yeah, okay.
So, did you hear about this Oscar category? The fan poll for the most cheer-worthy movie?
Oh, yes! People are...
So,
back up a little bit. I'm sorry because I'm yelling.
So, the options in this category were Jennifer Hudson's barnstorming performance in Dreamgirls. There was...
That was a long time ago, though.
Yeah, like these weren't new.
Oh, okay.
Newer
like, it was
moments.
like...
Because there was also the bullet dodge scene from The Matrix.
Okay.
The Avengers Assemble scene from Endgame, which still makes me tear up.
Oh.
You know, with the portals.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking amazing scene. Or the 3 Spider-Man scene from No Way Home.
But
there was one scene that beat all of them.
Which...
The moment in which the Flash enters the Speed Force in the Snyder Cut.
Why that moment?
Because, you know, they've been building up to that moment. They showed all of the Flash's journey to get into that moment. You know, we saw all of that build up.
Yeah, it was clear that this was won because of Twitter, you know, and the fans of, you know, the people who were paying attention to that category.
I had no idea this was a fucking category.
I would have voted everything before that, except
I would have voted Jennifer Hudson's Dreamgirls.
Honestly, that was a really good scene. I still listen to the song, and it's amazing. It's amazing vocals in that. So I could see like she could have won.
Oh, she can sing.
She can sing. She's amazing. And then that song, man, she goes through it. Right, it's amazing. But also like Spider-Man, like how do you just pass up on that?
Yeah,
I cried too when Spider-Man first. Well,
I mean, to be fair, I cried during Snyder Cut as well. Holy shit, that movie was long.
Yeah.
Different reasons,
yeah.
Also, the poll was one of 2 fan voted accolades.
Yeah.
With the other being the fan favorite film,
which was Justice League.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't? I heard they won twice.
It was a Zack Snyder movie.
Oh, Army of the Dead.
It was Army of the Dead.
What the actual
Because that was such a great fucking movie.
No, and I remember hearing that, and I was gonna talk to you about it today. Like that, it's fucking. These people did not even really watch the movie.
No, they didn't. These movies were both terrible.
Yeah, and not just to be a dig, because Zack Snyder. I mean, okay, we can leave the Zack Snyder part out of it. In general, this movie was fucking trash. It was such trash. Like that, you needed a prequel. I wanted to watch the prequel. I haven't to this day watched a prequel. You know, because of that reason. It was such a trash.
I don't understand how you decide to start off with the second movie and like what?
Yeah, we said
this. You're not George Lucas, buddy.
No,
like what the fuck are you doing?
It was
like tell a fucking story from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Like just fucking get that.
Yeah. People just want to kiss his ass. For some reason, it was probably just like 10 people who voted this because nobody else really cared about this because that's trash, dude. That's such a trash movie and fan favorite. Like fan favorite of like whatever. Like in recent times, right? Like
I barely even remember the Flash entering the Speed Force. Yeah. To turn back time because there was no buildup. Like all of a sudden he just does it.
Yeah,
like there's no fucking excuse for this.
Yeah. They were kissing Zack Snyder's ass, and I'm sure he's a nice guy, like you said before.
I hear he's a really nice guy.
I don't give a fuck. Trash.
But following the Oscar-winning announcements,
what now?
Ray Fisher celebrates the moment by demanding an apology from DC Films president Walter Hamada.
Oh my god.
In honor of the historic recognition of Zack Snyder's Justice League, allow me to say from the bottom of my heart that Walter Hamada owes an apology to the participants of the Justice League investigation.
Oh yeah.
Dude, fuck you.
Let it go.
Oh my god, I hope that's Walter Hamada's public answer because fuck you whiny little bitch.
Oh my god.
Look, did we hear Gal Gadot come and be like, Walter Hamada?
Oh my god.
Fucking say sorry.
Oh my god.
Did we hear Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
Like, can you apologize to us? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just this little whiny little twat won't let it go.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I hope he gets mistreated in every movie.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Poor guy.
Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, he needs to let it go. It's kind of been over with for a while now, you know.
This movie came out like 4-5 years ago.
Yeah.
Fucking let it go, bro.
Yeah. It's that time.
You need canceled. Better news, Deadpool 3. So Ryan Reynolds has already confirmed the return of Leslie Uggams. She played Blind Owl in the movie.
Blind Owl?
Yeah, his
roommate. Cool. Yeah, that's right. Right.
So no word on TJ Miller though, but TJ Miller's a dick.
Yeah.
So he's kind of assholed his way out of every job.
Nobody wants
to work with him. Yeah. He used to be in that show with
Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
We used to watch that show. It was really funny.
He was great, but just he's a dick, and nobody wants to work with him.
He was a dick in the show too, though.
Well, yeah.
Again, they portray characters that they kind of are in real life, you know, certain people. I mean, most people do. I feel like you can tell that they're nice based on how they play roles, you know, or the roles that they choose or they get put into. It's because that's...
I don't know. I hear Javier Bardem is such a nice guy.
Who is that?
Javier Bardem he was from No Country for Old Men, the guy with the funny haircut.
No, see that one.
He was also a villain in... What's that called? He would be a good Batman. He just has that jawline. He was a villain in one of the 007 movies.
Oh, okay.
He plays a really good bad guy, and I hear he's lovely.
Was he in the Ricardos movie?
Yes.
Being the Ricardos?
He played Ricky.
Oh, okay.
Or Desi Arnaz.
I just saw that recently. That's crazy. No, that's what we saw, right? Okay.
I don't know.
There's a few Lucille Ball things that were coming out around the same time, so that's why I wasn't sure for a second. With Nicole Kidman.
So Ryan Coogler, the director of Black Panthers 1 and 2 and Terrible Bank Robber, will be working on Disney Plus's Ironheart.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
Okay.
We already talked about Dominique Thorne as Riri Williams.
Yep.
I don't know if I should do this now. I'll do this now. So MoonKnight has been review bombed lately. So people have just been giving it 1 stars.
Oh.
So negative reviews for the show are rolling in on IMDb because of the first episode's mention of the Armenian genocide.
Oh,
which
yes.
The Turkish government still denies the scope of.
Yeah.
One of the reviews reads, "Stop telling lies. There is no Armenian genocide, you historical ignorance. Are you all illiterate or anything else? Don't you ever read the historical documents? We are really, really, and really tired of your lies and ignorance. That is really enough." Another one goes, "Another expensive, crappy propaganda garbage. It's like a Netflix propaganda series, but more expensive and political. Don't waste your time with this crap and watch something else. Penguin documentary would be better." It just goes to show you ignorance is not exclusive to America.
Yeah. Well, and it was just one line.
There was
one
line.
A part of a line, actually, where it was mentioned.
Where he talks about Amat.
Yeah.
And how if she would have been released, there would have been no Armenian genocide.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was a fucking line.
Yeah. It was part of a bigger line as well. They talked about the Holocaust, I think they talked about. They talked about a few other things. So it was just part of a line. And Adolfo pointed it out, too, that he goes, wow, like what an acknowledgement of a situation, because it hasn't been acknowledged by the U.S. government at all. So he pointed it out. I thought that was a really good point. But like you said, ignorance.
There were more reviews, but I'm not going to bother.
Yeah.
That's the end of my news segment. Do you have anything?
No. Oh, the one thing I heard about was that I guess
Mrs. Potato Head died.
I guess Meta. Oh, did she die?
Yes, she died today. So
how sad.
R.I.P. Mrs. Potato Head.
Yes. R.I.P.
Whose name I can't remember right now. I feel like a dick.
Yeah, you should. Are you gonna find it?
You go on.
Well, there was some recent Meta news. I guess Meta was contacted by who they thought were officials in regards to, I think it was Meta, but specifically around the metaverse. But they were contacted.
Estelle Harris.
Okay. Yes, she passed away.
Yes, she passed away.
R.I.P.
Yes. Okay. So metaverse.
Yeah. So they released a bunch of information for a bunch of customers to people who they thought were officials, like trying to get information.
They just called them.
Yeah, they called them, and I don't know what the process is, but somehow released information to these people, and it was a good amount of like customers that they released, and this just Okay, and I like because you have the quest, right?
Yes.
It just kind of reminded me like about why I didn't want to like get in buy it, or get into it.
But you're on Instagram.
Yeah, but that's the last. Remember, that's the last thing I'm holding on to, right? Jerk. But then again, anyway, my information is not out there. So, did you play the metaverse thing?
The
metaverse. You know how they have the metaverse thing on like the Quest? You know about that?
I've honestly played with it maybe twice.
I'm sure it's been more than that.
That was only this morning.
But no, so there's like a whole online thing where you can buy property. You can be in like a little.
No,
stuff.
I'm good. Yeah. Is this kind of like Ready Player One?
If you think of it, yes, it's similar to that. But you can, you create your avatar. You haven't heard of this? You own this thing. What the fuck?
I'm good.
Okay, so it's like
I have one game on it.
You can travel the metaverse, right, and be able to.
Or you could go outside,
visit people. You can right. Okay, you can visit, and I can understand the logic for some people, right? I can point that out, right? But yeah, we're not in that time yet for me, at least, and so, but yeah, they recently they provided a bunch of information for customers, and again, there's no security. It doesn't sound like there's a security feature or a way of not providing that information, your customers' information, because that's pretty bad. It just goes to add to like the Facebook issue. It's a problem. It's really a problem, in my opinion. It's a problem. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the government doesn't already know everything about you, but
I mean,
sure.
Yeah.
Like I was listening to like conspiracy theories, and somebody was like, "Oh, the Roombas are mapping your house," and I'm like, "Bro, you can literally look up blueprints to any building. It's public information."
Right. Right. I mean, it already exists. It had to be created first, right?
But all right,
yeah,
cool.
That was it.
All right. So moving on now, let's start our reviews on one of the shows that we're doing. Start with Halo, Unbound.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right. So the first note I have here is put the fucking helmet on.
It's funny because I didn't think I was going to agree with you about this, but I do. You're right. It really, well, in this series specifically, it really has taken away from the Master Chief, and I don't feel like he's the Master Chief,
Yeah.
Maybe because his helmet's been off this whole episode. His helmet was off, basically. He put it on at one point.
Look at my notes. Put the fucking helmet on. Put the fucking helmet on. Put the fucking helmet on.
Yeah.
Wait. Helmet is back off 2 minutes later.
Keep the
fucking helmet on.
Yeah. He's not, he doesn't feel like the Master Chief. And on top of this, right, the whole Silver team also in this episode weren't wearing their helmets, you know? And it took away, excuse me, I don't know what happened right there. But it took away from their whole badassery, in my opinion. I thought that the way we weren't able to see who they were really added to at least that team. They could have just remained Spartans the way they were, and then as soon as they took away their helmets, it was like, okay, like whatever. It really didn't do it for me. So I do have to say I agree with you, but I do think the issue is that they're just not, like, they're leaving them off, as opposed to.
And I told you that was what it felt like was going to happen.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about like Mandalorian. It didn't happen like that.
No,
in Mandalorian,
you're right. It didn't.
Boba Fett, it did. He didn't have the helmet on the whole time.
He just carried his helmet along with him the whole time.
Yeah, but see, and then it just becomes a bunch of like masked, helmet guys,
And I would have been okay with that.
I guess.
I think it would have worked here a lot better.
Yeah.
Especially because you try to just humanize the Master Chief so quickly.
Yeah.
We also get to see more of his story back when he was younger.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I have to say real quick, I did find this episode boring.
I didn't like this episode.
Okay, cool. I thought it was
like,
just
I didn't like this episode. I just they're trying to dive way too much into the history of a character that should be a lot more mysterious.
Yeah.
I didn't care for Soren and the escape.
Yeah.
I do have here, finally he put the helmet on and immediately put the put the fucking helmet on.
Yeah.
Because he just puts it on and then takes it off immediately.
Yeah. I think I'm more connected to like characters like Quan because I don't know, because she's not the Master Chief, you know, not I mean,
but she's not even a good character.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because we got to see her story instead, you know, like from the beginning, you know, like you did. We did. The Master Chief, to me, it was a story about her up until the Master Chief showed up, and it's still kind of a story about her, it seems like, but she's there, but not really. I don't know. I did really find this episode boring, and it kind of like brought me down a little bit because I even thought the same thing about like it just felt like the first episode was pretty decent and pretty good. You know, we both really enjoyed it, and then we dove into this episode, and it was just like a lot of story, and I get it. Story is fine. I get it, but it was just a little drawn out. You know.
When Quan asks, like, why would a Spartan help me? He goes, I don't know. And I'm just thinking, neither do the writers.
Well, his humanity is now being reclaimed.
To do, but no, it wasn't done well.
Yeah, because they're trying to do this whole like he's realizing he's actually a human the whole time, you know, type of thing. I mean, not to say that was a question, but I'm saying like his humanity is coming back to him, you know.
But it doesn't have any emotional weight to it because we didn't see him as the Master Chief.
Yeah,
like there's been no character development.
That's true.
It's all of a sudden like they're banking on people who like him from the games, and even then, like all they're doing is character assassination.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because he's not essentially the same character anymore, right? Is what you're saying.
But I'm saying like they're trying to bank on that as the emotional buildup. Mm-hmm. What we've seen in the video games. Yeah. To all of a sudden, now he's going through this change.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to bank on history that we have as gamers to make this an emotional payoff without building it up in the show, but telling me it's a different character than the one we've seen in the games.
It's very true. Yeah, it's very true. And I do feel like this show has a lot of cliches. Like we travel to the asteroid. Rubble is what it was called. Yeah, it was basically nowhere, right? We travel to this backside of this asteroid is the way I can picture it, right? And people are living there. That's where all the misfits go, right? Yeah. That's where we see Soren again, right? And I feel like a lot of that was so cliche, right? Like a lot of it was so cliche. Like when they go to the jail, right? For example, and they're visiting somebody who had been through the whole Covenant situation, had been on their ship, right? Yeah. All the people in jail were like these I guess the misfits of the misfits at this point, you know, where they're like almost like cannibals, or they had deformed faces. Yeah. It was such a cliche of a scene, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if and it feels low budget. Mm-hmm. It feels low budget, and nothing's wrong with low budget because like that first episode was low budget, but it was pretty good, right? But this feels like low budget and bad, you know. Is how it felt.
No,
you know?
I get you.
And so I just was kind of like, you know, like about that scene specifically, about Rubble, about, you know, the family environment even that they tried to throw in at one point too. Yeah, it was called Rubble, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I didn't care for this episode. Yeah. I like I said, I hated the fact that he had the helmet off the entire episode.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
just I don't like what they're doing with the character.
Yeah. What did you feel about the because in the jail we get introduced to that guy that I was telling you about? Yeah, Reth. That was his name. That's exactly his name.
Yeah.
What did you think about that character?
That's all I got.
Yeah, no, it's true. It was, and again,
and like you said, you called
a cliche. It was a cliche of this like man who was crawling in like space. I don't know, like he didn't. I don't feel like he even really. He was just a crazy man. Yeah. Essentially, even though he's the correct, the crazy man who's correct. Yeah. You know about the things, because people I guess didn't believe him or something like that, and he's just like all up in Master Chief's face. Like at one point he's talking to Quan, and it's like the expression of this like really creepy man, you know, from space who got abducted by the Covenant, you know. And it was just it didn't do anything for me. I was just kind of like, oh. I felt grossed out, obviously, because you're like in his mouth half the time, you know. You're looking at his teeth, you know, the whole time. And it was just like, and he was telling the story of like, oh well, you know, these people. There's certain people who can control, you know, the keystone or whatever it was, right? And he told this big old story, and I don't know if it was necessary, you know, like I don't know if it was even like it was just a cliche, you know, and that's where I get stuck on, you know, the cliche.
He also mentions that not all humans are blessed ones.
Yeah.
Which is one thing I mentioned in the last episode. I don't want them to be like, oh, this is he is special, which is what they're fucking doing.
They're making them, So wait, does that mean that Quan is going to be special then? Because has Quan touched the keystone?
I don't think so.
No, but they're obviously putting her like kind of on a pedestal for a reason, and I feel like that might be the reason.
I think Quan is meant to be us, like so things get explained to her, like the companions to the Doctor, where they're just there for the Doctor to explain things.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. I mean, it makes sense what you're saying. But then she feels like she's just going to be a throwaway character. Then
she hasn't done anything.
I mean, but again, well. I mean, yeah, you're right. She was hiding half the time in the show, but I did feel like her story was at least kind of like, damn, she's been through some shit because of what just happened to her family in that episode. I liked her. Sure. I like her.
You have no reason to, other than she's a female.
And
she's a female of color. That's usually all it takes for Jaime to like a character.
Wow. I like all people. Thank you very much, jerk. But I mean, I'm saying like they showed her story. They showed, again, what happened to her family. You know, they kind of give you that emotional buildup. What if she became like some crazy, like Spartan?
Yeah, sure. That's what's going to happen.
Who fucking knows?
This little 5'0"
yeah. Good point. But she's not old. She was only like what? Like she's supposed to be like super young, like
she's
a teenager.
16 maybe.
Yeah, doesn't mean she can't keep growing.
How much do you think she's gonna grow? I think a woman stops growing at 18.
You know a lot about women somehow. All of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
Stop it. Anyway,
I did my research. Years and years of it.
Apparently not well enough. Wow.
I just make it up as I go along. Let's be honest.
Yes, you do.
So Miranda puts up great points as to getting funding for her. And like, what's her face is just like, I've had enough manipulation for one day. And it's like, fuck you, dude. Like, she just made a great point. Like, you know, the camouflage is because of her. The weapons are because of her. The shielding is because of her.
Yeah.
But
for
you're
her
just
research,
like,
right? Yeah.
And you're just like, nope, let's give all this funding to Halsey, who is doing stuff that I don't want her to do.
Yeah, and she just goes with it to. Yeah, it was the Admiral. I don't remember her name either. Yeah, and then they really talk about the Cortana programming.
Yeah,
that all the Spartans are going to be upgraded to.
Yeah, which is dumb. Because Cortana she's an artificial intelligence.
Yeah, that's what I thought I remembered.
And all of the ships have their own artificial intelligence.
Oh, but like she's just specific to Master Chief.
She's specific to the Pillar of Autumn, which is the ship that Master Chief is on when the Covenant first attack.
Okay, so Master Chief
in the first.
Master Chief.
He's the one that takes her. Yeah,
okay.
But she's particular to that ship because the AIs are particular to a certain ship.
I understand.
Yeah. Cool. So Master Chief has Cortana.
Okay, got it. Okay.
And not everybody gets a Cortana because Cortana is based off of Halsey and like her appearance and everything.
Yeah.
So it's dumb that all of them
are going to be upgraded. Cortanas. Well, and not even the ships, the Spartans, you know, are going to be upgraded to that. You know,
yeah. When each ship has their own.
Yeah.
AI.
I don't get why this is what happens with movies, right? Like, why do you guys go off?
Why do you change shit?
Yeah, like, why are you going? You obviously have a good story because it's in the video game for that fucking reason, and people were like, "Wow, this is a good story." You know, why the hell would you change the story?
Not just that, there are books that have been written, comic books. Yeah. Like you have so much to pull from.
Yeah. Like, why are you changing it? Like, it's already good. Just put it in a movie or a TV show. Like, don't do stupid things. Don't change stupid things that don't need to be changed.
Yeah. So Chief activates the artifact.
Yeah. Again.
And Reth tells him that they already have a blessed one.
The Covenant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Chief also gets all emotional. What am I?
Yeah.
fuck you, dude.
That was such a cheesy scene too. I agree with that. Like I was just like, oh, like it was just a cliche of a scene too. You know, like he doesn't know who he is all of a sudden. There was also that random scene with homegirl that was getting naked, and I can't remember her name either. Oh, not Mercy. What's her name?
The Blessed One. I think that's what
is
they
just
call
that
her.
what they call her? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Wow.
It was okay. It was a scene.
I mean, it happened.
I don't get why.
I could have used it a little longer, but
Stop. Yes, you could have. Stop. Don't be like that. Only I can be this way.
I have here.
about
Finally,
facts.
the helmet comes on 43 minutes into this 53-minute episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then helmet is back off 2 minutes later.
Yeah.
Keep the fucking helmet on. So he leaves Quan behind.
He does leave her on
and then turns
rubble.
on his beacon so they could find him.
Yeah. I really like the Silver Team, and I don't like that they took off their helmets. And it's weird because I don't know anything about the Silver Team, but I felt like they should have been at least the ones to keep the helmets on. Almost like in Mandalorian. Oh, no, Boba Fett. In Boba Fett, right, where Mandalorian took off his helmet at a certain point. You know, it wasn't really Boba Fett. It was Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
He's the only one that ever took off his helmet, right? In Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
But in the story, the other ones you never saw their faces.
Mm-hmm.
The two that were in Boba Fett, like we never saw their faces. You know, so I thought that was cool. Like this still has this mystery behind it.
And it's funny though because in the games, Master Chief is the only one that keeps his
Oh,
helmet
really?
on.
So you see the Silver Team?
Well, I don't think you see. I don't think there is a Silver Team. But you see other Spartans' faces.
Oh,
Like one of them was played by Nathan Fillion.
who's Nathan Fillion?
He's the guy that I told you looks like Drake from Nathan Drake.
Oh, okay. Oh,
You know,
okay. I don't
Firefly?
remember.
No?
Firefly? No.
Damn it.
Oh, yeah. I think I do remember.
Yeah, so one of them is played by him, and another one in Halo 5 is played by Mike Coulter, who's Luke Cage.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. No.
Also, I don't like what they're doing with Miranda Keyes' character. I feel like she lacks any sort of confidence.
She seems. I mean, just from what I've seen, because I don't know her from the game, she does seem like a very mild, like just a scientist type of character.
Because Miranda Keyes is not.
Oh.
Like, she's a lot stronger in the games, I feel. Like,
yeah, and you can see that there's potential for that, but it's like it's right. She's kind of like just shy, or she's just like asking for permission as opposed to like doing, and like Halsey's just not giving a fuck and just doing what she wants to do. Yeah. But I do like Miranda's character too, but I do see the kind of the mildness of her.
Yeah, like I feel like this character is a lot weaker than she is in the video games.
Yeah.
The kid puts a happy face on his arm, on his hand.
You know, he's like, I'll come back and protect you or some shit like that. I remember it was
like,
cheesy.
it's like, oh, that means that he's got your back as long as you got his back or something like that.
Yeah.
He feels like you got his back, so he's got your back, and it's like this kid is 2.
Yeah.
I could punt him.
Stop. It was like an emotional tie for no reason.
Yeah, I was like, I because
is the kid gonna die?
God, I hope
They're gonna probably like next episode they're gonna go back to the planet and it's gonna be destroyed and the little kid's gonna be there. He's gonna be gone.
There was no Covenant here. I mean, we saw the prophets.
Yeah, and there was one of the Covenant like guys. I don't know what they're called. The elites. Okay.
I think that might be the Arbiter.
That guy.
Yeah.
That one?
Because the Arbiter is the elite in Halo 2 that you get to play as.
Oh, okay.
So I think they might be.
He did like a hand signal thing.
Yeah, I think they might be trying to make him the Arbiter.
Oh.
But I just feel like you're trying to do too much. Well, yeah, that's it. You're trying to do too much because this isn't even stuff that should be going on later on in the show.
Yeah.
This is just. Yeah, I did not like this episode.
Yeah.
And it was very disappointing because I highly enjoyed the first one.
Yeah. It just season premieres have been good, and then it kind of just jumped into like what, you know, and I really enjoyed the first episode too. And then this one just kind of was like, oh, I fell asleep, to be honest, the first time around. So.
And the thing is, they do have the Mandalorian blueprint to go off of.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Mandalorian and the Child, you have Master Chief and Quan.
Yeah.
Like you have that blueprint.
Yeah.
Like, why the hell do you... And not just that, you have the entirety of the Halo games.
Mm-hmm. You know, this is what's wrong. we keep forgetting about the source, about the story that people enjoy and why they enjoy the games. Don't forget that because I guess at this point we're gonna jump into episode 3 and just see. Do you know how many episodes this is gonna be? 8. Oh, it's a little long too.
Yeah,
but
we do see that the Master Chief does have scars.
Yeah, on his back. Yeah, and he has a thing implanted, right, that helps him not feel emotions or something like that.
Something like that.
They called it a specific thing, like a pedal or something along those lines. I'm trying to find it. Which is he can't taste things apparently. Like he can't taste things and he also can't feel things. So are they gonna rip it out of him or what?
I have no idea, man.
I mean, okay, so in the comic books, in the games, do they not mention his scars, or do they show his scars in the games?
They don't show his, like, you don't ever see his scars.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Like in like that little booklet that came, where it tells you about the Master Chief, it lets you know that he has scars. Like his face is pretty deformed. Yeah, pretty much, because you have like all these scars on his face too.
No, why is his face so perfect then?
That's what I said in the last episode.
He has beautiful eyes though. He does though. Like he has big brown eyes and just like.
He's a very good looking man.
Hi.
And like he should not be that.
So Episode 2 was definitely, I don't know, her for me. So
yeah.
No G-spot hit. It was okay. No, it wasn't even okay. It was just kind of boring to me, this episode.
I'm good. I was good without it.
All right.
So, moving on from Halo, DMZ, TheGoodName.
Yes. Another
lackluster episode.
Yeah. Like I think most of the episode was pretty bad. I think the last part, like maybe the last 15-20 minutes of the episode were
maybe because I had checked out by then. I watched it.
And while I'm saying that, I did at one point comment like, I'm like, why is this the Well, I felt like it was better than the war scene in Boba Fett, at least,
because there were definitely more people.
More people, yeah. You had 20 people as opposed to 10, No, but like overall, it was just an okay episode. I wouldn't even say it was like a good episode. I do feel like there's too much going on for 4 days. Like Alma.
Yes, I have that too.
Alma has done a lot in 4 days, and I'm just thinking about how realistic that is. I
also did find it funny that Alma is the only one that looks like she's been in the DMZ.
Yeah,
because she looks kind of jacked up.
She, you know what? She looks more jacked up than she did at first, which is cool.
Everybody else, but everybody else looks fine.
Yeah,
everybody else looks clean. Everybody else looks good.
Yeah. She looks like she's going through it. Yeah, at least.
So and
that goes to show Rosario Dawson is doing pretty decently. I feel like, considering the part. Yeah,
I have. This episode starts off with Skell, who thinks you could just scratch off a tattoo.
Yeah. It reminds me of that Halo tattoo, the Halo marking. Yeah. I was like, wait, why is? Oh no, it's 2 different episodes. Yeah, it was cheesy.
So this episode has Alma handling house calls, trying to get votes for Wilson.
Well, and at that point, again, everybody knows her already.
Yeah,
and she's only been there 4 days, and she's already been able to convert 3 of the fucking tribes or whatever they're called, gangs. This is what I'm saying. Like, that's a lot.
So I have everyone who's lived there is telling her Wilson is a bad dude, but she's sure he's not.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, so Wilson. I don't know. I mean, this place is just ruled by bad people, and because Parko is still a bad guy, he is still the bad guy, and Wilson is just a part of that. They're just part of this world where
coin.
Yeah, exactly. They're part of this world where they are. It's like they're ruled by gangs. One of them is trying to be for the people. The other one is trying to be for himself first, you know. But they're both doing things that they shouldn't be doing, you know. Like Parko is buying guns from the U.S. Army, and so is Wilson, right?
Well, they have like Susie. I think that was her name.
Yeah,
she's the one that says, "I think one ruler is a problem. In the end, the cycle is a cycle."
Yeah,
and she's right.
But then, okay, so then that's the confusing part. Mind you, when in that scene, she's sitting across from Alma having this conversation about Wilson, who's like right there.
But he can't hear.
It makes no fucking sense.
No, he turned around.
He was reading a book and he was looking at them. You know, and it didn't make sense to me because then Susie, whose side or what do you, I understand what she said, but then you're not trying to influence Wilson into that.
Yeah.
You know, like clearly Wilson's out to be in power as well, even though he speaks for the people, quote unquote.
But then he immediately goes to show Alma, like he rushes to show Alma his ruthless side.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there was no hiding. He's like, "Hey Alma, why don't you come here with me?
Yeah, yeah.
Watch what I'm gonna do to this dude."
Yeah, the torture that he's putting people through. It was just such a. I didn't even really get why he did that. Aside from, like, I didn't really get it. Like again. Because Alma is just going from place to place, like so casually. Even again within these 4 days, right? She's converted all these other gangs,
and we still haven't seen the cannibals,
which probably don't really exist. But she's been converting all these people, and it's like she's just like chill. She's like a newcomer, like nobody has anything to ask her. Like she's just going from town to town, you know, on house calls, you know, like doing whatever she wants, and. I cool, you know. I don't like that she has that much power in 4 days, you know, or she's able to do that in 4 days. But it doesn't make sense for the fluidity of the story, you know. Yeah.
So in that scene where we see Wilson torture the guy to get the information, he's like, "Oh, you don't want to tell us who he is? That's fine. Don't tell us who he is, but just text him." And let him know to meet us, to like come to this place to get this gold.
And the guy was okay with it.
Yeah, the guy was like, okay, yeah, you're right. If I don't tell you, it's not snitching.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, let me just set this guy up. So Alma then interrogates him and finds out that Skell is the thief.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I guess we knew.
Yeah, we knew that, but I don't think we had to.
Yeah,
we had to be fed that to know that.
Yeah,
like, of course Skell was gonna be the thief.
Yeah, and it was he the only reason he confessed is because he was shot, and she was telling him like if you don't let me know, you're gonna die. Yeah, you know. Yeah, and it was such a and so this goes then back to where Alma is like she goes and visits Carmen. Or she goes to try to find Skell. Yeah. And Skell doesn't answer the door.
Well, because Skell builds a window in his apartment because now he's in love.
Yeah.
And he's letting the sunshine back in.
He's with
Jesus fucking
He's
Christ.
with Tenny. And Tenny's cute, by the way.
Tenny's very cute.
Yeah. But
Skell has no fucking personality.
Yeah, he has zero personality. I thought that tattoo even, like, I thought maybe he was going to carve it out of his hand.
No, he tried to scratch it off.
He tried to scratch it off, you're right.
Yeah.
Because later on you still see it, you know, it's still the same.
Because that's not how tattoos work.
Yeah, yeah.
I put Skell is awkward as fuck, and he really takes me out of this.
He does. He's not a good actor, I would say.
And not just that, like with Tenny when he's like, "Oh, you don't ever want to go home. You're leaving your stuff behind here." And I'm like, "Bitch, it's been 3 days since you met her."
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean she doesn't ever want to go home?
Yeah.
Like, what stuff is she leaving behind in 3 days?
Right. And then we kind of get the whole story of like how Tenny is, like working with Wilson, and it's because of her dad and all this stuff. And you're right, like it was just it's like he just like knows all these things about her in 4 days, you know, because it looks like that's the first. I mean, they've officially met within these last 4 days, you know,
in 3 days. Like she met him in like
the second episode. Yeah, you're right.
Episode, day 2.
You're right. And then supposedly she's like in a golden prison, and she just, she feels obligated to be along, Wilson's side and all this stuff. And it doesn't really make sense why, aside from her dad, and now he just, aside from Wilson was like, well, I'm going to take you under my wing. And she's kind of ungrateful, if you ask me. Like, not to be, I'm saying like, who else was going to take you in? Like your dad just died, and this guy took you in. I'm not saying you have to do everything he says. He actually asked her too, like, is he hurting you? She goes, no, I'm just mad.
Yeah. Petulant child. She's fucking Ray Fisher.
It was kind of that, and it was just like, well, you're not really given a real reason. Like if he was like torturing you, or, I don't know, he was making you become this person you don't want to be, i.e. Skell, right? But he wanted to be, then that would have been different. Like if she was the assassin that Wilson had by his side, then maybe her character would have made a little bit more sense in that moment too. Like maybe she's just mad, because she has to do this, or she feels obligated to do this.
Yeah.
Where Skell wanted to be that, it would have been like the opposite of Skell. She's being forced to do it, but Skell wanted to willingly do it,
Yeah.
Or willingly did it. Sorry.
What the fuck ever. So we get a little more of Odie, whom I'm enjoying Odie.
Yeah.
He steps up to protect his girl.
Yeah, Nico.
That was cute.
Yeah.
Because he's like 2 foot nothing.
Yeah. yeah.
And then like she just pulls out a gun.
A golden gun. Yes. Yeah, it was a cool scene for those characters, Yeah. It totally takes me back to The Walking Dead. Like this environment reminds me of The Walking Dead. And I think the kids did have some interesting stories in that too. Like they could have been more interesting.
This show could really use some zombies.
It really can, or cannibals, like you were saying, And I feel like it would add to the effect, but then it's just another zombie show.
I'm good with that
because but like even the military, like you can't really be scared of like those kids that showed up to attack Odie and Nico, right? When they were gathering the Coca-Colas, not the drugs. They showed up and they weren't really threatening. They were, but they were kids. Yeah, they were bullies and they were bullies. Like it was. Why didn't they show up with like guns too, or chains or some shit like that? Like
they're not ghosts.
dude,
you show up rattling chains.
No, I meant like to beat them up. Like, come on. The fuck? Anyway, like I'm saying, show up with something that's gonna make the other kids intimidated. And yeah, she pulls out a gun. Yeah, they weren't gonna get away with anything. She had a gun, at the same time.
Yeah, and I did think that this was gonna be a bigger part of the episode because in the part where they're finally drinking their cokes, you see someone moving from behind them, and I thought like, oh shit, like these kids are gonna come back to. Like something's gonna happen. Yeah. And then no, it's just the homeless man, crazy homeless man who's apparently was a security at the Met.
I thought it was a preacher.
That's what I thought at first. But he was a security guard.
Oh, wow.
And he went and he saved all these paintings.
Yeah.
He was just like, oh, I want to show you something.
Yeah.
And he just takes them to see his paintings. But like, how easy is it to kidnap kids in this day and age? And let me show you something here at my house.
Yeah.
Just follow me. Yeah. I got a puppy. I swear.
It's like people became nicer, like in this apocalyptic world, But I did enjoy the scene of Odie just looking at the starry sky. What is it called?
Starry Night.
Starry Night. Picture. I enjoyed it. I don't know why I enjoyed it. I just thought it was a really like impactful scene, but I can't really say why. I just like thought it was his face upside down. Him looking at the starry night like image in the sky, maybe because of his innocence or his lost innocence, but he's just picturing a whole different world in his head. It's, what I went on to.
I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, as you mentioned earlier, Alma saw Parko dealing with the U.S. soldiers.
Yes.
Benjamin Pratt is just so intense. Like I like him. I like him a lot, and I honestly think he's been the best part of this show.
Yeah, he's very he's again charismatic, right?
Exactly.
He's that villain for sure.
Yeah, he's so good at it.
Yeah.
So she finally gets a hold of Skell. Like, she finds Skell. Like, he had already stolen the gold.
Yeah.
How the hell did he sneak in without anybody seeing him?
Well, yeah, and if we wait, was that before? No, because Alma goes to.
Oh, she goes to Carmen.
She goes to Carmen, and then she goes to
Carmen's
Parko.
Pregnant.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, because then Carmen tells him where Parko is.
Yeah, but then so she goes to Parko, right? And then she sneaks in,
and that's when she sees that.
Yeah. So she sees it. Okay, so again, this goes to my whole thing about Alma. She's just getting into places, like she just anywhere she just goes and she just gets in, and then she gets found. She did get found, and she's like slaps the shit out of the homie. Caesar, I think his name is, and this guy who's like Parko's like left hand man, I guess, not his right hand man, because that's his son.
Skell.
Anyway, there's this whole like little battle scene, and she survives. That like she was just okay, and then. Do you want her dead or you do not want her dead, Parko? But again, Parko is playing. I mean, Benjamin Pratt, he's playing it really well.
Yeah,
really well. She does escape, and she does end up going, or finding Skell later on, she finds again. She walked into a place and she like snuck in and she found him digging out the gold. You know, it's like,
and then like she tells him everything she saw, and he doesn't trust her. Yeah, so he gets caught.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the way, that scene they were whispering where these guys
they were whispering very loudly,
but again, it was just kind of like why nobody's gonna notice that. Yeah. Like, guys.
And Wilson tells her, like, I warned you about me.
Yeah.
And then, like, he looks at Skell and he goes, you got a good mom. You should be less of a dick to her. Yeah. I mean,
but Wilson was going to kill Skell, too. I mean, you know, it was going to be a thing, so.
Yeah.
He does end up taking Skell and holding him captive. In what town is that? What do they call that town where he's staying?
I don't know.
Okay, well.
Downtown?
Wilson takes him back to where he lives, where, you know, his community. And he holds him captive there, which is actually what creates the whole war between the Kings and Wilson's crew.
Yeah. So when Alma is talking to Skell, he asks her, like, oh, do you even know where the name Skell came from? And she's like, oh, that was your tagger name. And like, I start thinking, hold on, so you knew his name was Skell, but in the first episode when they were talking about Skell, you had no idea what was just said. Like, how common of a name do you think Skell is?
Yeah.
But then we got Parker going to war dressed like Aquaman.
Yes. And then, but Wilson was kind of dressed like fancy too, with their Under Armour. He did look like Aquaman. He looked like he had like a chainmail on.
Yeah, but it looked like Aquaman's stealth suit.
Oh yeah. That's true.
And then so he finally has Wilson down.
Yeah.
And instead of shooting him, he wants to resolve the whole thing with fisticuffs.
Yeah. Which, by the way, Wilson went down. Well, no. He didn't go down that easily. He threw a bomb at him. And mind you, he didn't die, which, okay. Instead, he was still alive, you know, and then they fought. And of course, Wilson at that point is like dying. He's already like in a state of like suffering, and he gets beat up. Pretty beat up by Parko. Yeah. And he ends up on the floor. Does Alma show up? Oh no, she does show up at this point too, right? And they have
Skell shows up first.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, he gives him his gun, and he's like, oh, you know, oh no, wait, does Alma show up first or?
They show up. I don't know. I think Alma shows up first, and then kind of Skell shows up at a certain point, right? Or no, Skell is there because he was kidnapped by Wilson. He has to be there. I don't remember how Skell showed up again.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Alma was there first, and then they brought in Skell.
Yeah.
We're being told by our producer.
Thank you, producer.
Who's better at this than we are.
He did, yeah. And, well, I see that's the difference, and I saw freaking 50 minutes of it.
He came in at the good part.
He came at the good part. Yeah, it's true. It was the good part of the movie, the scene of the show. And they get in a fight. Alma leaves because, you know, Wilson's dying already. She just leaves them there. Well, they also kicked their ass out. So
yeah, they just said leave, and she walked out, and then Skell throws Wilson out the window.
Yeah, and Wilson is dead.
Yeah, and apparently Alma didn't see that coming.
Yeah. This is a war.
Yeah, and then, you know? But as soon as Wilson dies, the war stops. Yeah. Everybody's like, well, I guess that's it.
It's over.
Everybody go home.
Yeah.
But then Tenny shows up. It's perfect timing. Mm-hmm. I don't know where the fuck she's been.
Yeah.
But she just strolls on up.
Yeah. And she sees Wilson dying. Alma sees Wilson dying or dead on the floor as well.
And then she sees Skell on top. It's like she just knows that he's been thrown from the...
No, Alma sees him. Oh, yeah. Alma sees him,
and Tenny sees him, too.
Yeah. I thought Tenny saw him when he was leaving.
Because...
they were leaving.
No, because she looked up and she saw him up in the window. I think
that was Alma.
Oh, fuck out of it, man.
And then Susie comes out, and Susie's just all sad now too. But then Susie, what do you want? Like, make up your mind. You know, did you not want him to?
I don't fucking know.
Like, man. I was confused about what she wanted, what her end game was, because you weren't on Wilson's side. You're sad that he's died now, you know, but you were on Wilson's side. It was kind of a confusing situation right there. And yeah, the Kings won, right? They basically are going to take over this area. So now we don't have Wilson. And so my thought is like, okay, so now is it going to be Alma versus Parko now? You know, sure. because to me, that was the core of the story right there, right? These two gangs or these two political figures, you know, fighting it out to see who's gonna. I mean, that was like a whole season right there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? That was a whole season right there.
I feel like they're doing what Luke Cage did.
Okay.
When they had Cottonmouth.
Oh yeah.
And Cottonmouth was such a great villain.
Yeah.
And they decided to just randomly kill him off in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and I can agree
with that. And replace him by a less menacing villain.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that because Wilson to me again was, you know, very much like Parko, right? He had that charisma. He had a different vibe. It was a different side of the coin in a sense. Same coin, but different side, right? In a sense, right? Even though deep down inside he was evil. I guess Parko was more outward with it, right?
Yeah.
Or quote unquote evil, right? And then they just killed off this character that, again, it could have been an entire season, you know, of this. Now, because for 4 days has happened really fast, you know. Yeah. That's and now we already have one of those big characters out. It's like, okay, where are we gonna go with it now?
Yeah,
you know?
You still got what 4 more episodes to fill?
Yeah,
6 more episodes, whatever.
Yeah. So we haven't even seen the fourth of the four that came out initially. So I'm just kind of now left wondering what they're gonna do, you know, because we lost a really big character. And it's just Alma. Is it going to be Alma just like doing everything now? I don't know. It's really weird. Susie's going to be her mentor now.
Yeah, I didn't care for this episode, honestly. Yeah. And at this point, like I think I was like, my brain was so dead after watching fucking Halo and DMZ. I think that was back to back too.
Yeah, you know, we have to, and so while I think we're kind of done with DMZ already, but I'm just thinking I need to split up the episodes because I can't watch everything, because especially if there's like 2 bad episodes back to back, it's gonna be like
exactly
exhausting. I fell asleep. All right.
So we finally got the MoonKnight premiere.
Yes, the Goldfish Problem, season 1, episode 1.
Yeah. So it starts off, the way this episode starts off, the first thing that popped into my head was, I think the dude misunderstood the term glass slippers.
Oh. Ooh, how cringe though, right?
Yeah.
It was super cringe, and I thought it was a good effect for the beginning of a series.
It did make me think of mirroring religions, like certain religions.
Okay.
Especially like there's a sect in Catholicism that believes in not mutilation, but
like hurting yourself, right?
Basically, because it's like
for punishment of your sins.
Yeah. So that's what that made me think of, and I think it definitely fit because the way this character was, he did seem like that kind of character, like this religious leader, this religious prophet.
Yeah. I called him Glassfoot when I first saw him, but we also get Harrow as his name and Arthur as his name. So there's
I was just calling him Ethan Hawke.
Well, okay, we're in MoonKnight world, so no, but well, at least that's what I gathered. I might have misunderstood Harrow. I'm not sure if I got that name right or not, but yeah,
that might be a title.
Oh, is it? Is it Harrow title?
Yeah,
because
like Herald.
Well, no, it wasn't Harold. It was Harrow, like Harrow. And the lady, there's a lady that goes up to him and holds his hand at a certain point. We'll talk about that a little bit. She calls him Harold, and she goes, "No, just call me." He goes, "No, just call me Arthur."
So it might be a title.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. Cool. But no, so we get that opening scene where Ethan Hawke's character Arthur is putting glass. He drinks water. He then breaks the glass into bits, and then he puts it into his sandals, and he just puts the sandals on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That looked painful.
And then you can hear it like as he's walking off, and it was a really good like cringe moment to kind of establish that character, right? Like the craziness behind him too. So I really enjoyed that opening scene, even though I was like, oh.
Yeah. That. So we then meet Oscar Isaac's character, Stephen Grant.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how I feel about his accent. I mean, it's a choice.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It makes sense because he's in London, right?
But it's still.
I think I agree with you. Like it doesn't quite fit him. It doesn't quite fit him. And it does sound like overdone. Then again, I don't know because I don't have an accent. I couldn't understand half the things they were saying, so I had to have subtitles on during the conversation.
I didn't have an issue with it, but
really?
I get it. But we meet Steven, who's a vegan that asks a girl out to a steakhouse.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't remember.
For her though, I'd give up a lifestyle as well. Like, oh my god, she was beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
But Mark is the other personality in the body.
Yes. And we don't quite get that from the beginning. Like, well, how should it say? I think we all kind of knew. I feel we knew because, you know, he's described as a person with multiple personalities is what I've heard about MoonKnight. And so there is like the way that they try to play it is like, it's like kind of the secret, like where he doesn't know because he wakes up in shackles, like on his feet.
Yeah.
He has like tape on his door. He has sand around his bed. So things that to him are like trying to figure out like if he's like sleepwalking.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're trying to play on, right? Like they're trying to play on whether he's just a sleepwalker. And then like, again, there's conversations that are had like with that girl where he's like, oh, are you asking me out on a date? She goes, oh, you're very funny because apparently she's already been asked out on a date by him, you know? But then doesn't his accent change?
Yeah, I think it does.
Oh, okay. So when she be like,
just at some point I just stopped noticing it. No, because we haven't even heard the other personality speak.
Who?
The other personality?
What are you talking? Oh, in the beginning, you mean?
No, like at all.
Yeah, we got it at the end of the episode. Like, well, they spoke more.
No, because the voice in his head, I don't think is a personality.
No, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about, well, Mark.
Yeah.
We have heard him speak.
Do we?
Yeah. Yeah, he takes over.
Yeah, but we don't ever see it. Like we see him kind of convulsing, and then when he comes to again, the whole Mark scene is done.
But in the reflection. So we're jumping way ahead.
Okay, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Okay. Okay. So you remember now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He looks so confused.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So he's blacking out, right? Like there's blackouts. I think there's the first night where we actually see him trying to keep himself awake. Is like he points out a goldfish that he has who only has one fin. And then he's just trying to keep himself awake. And because again, he thinks he's sleepwalking. And so he's just trying to keep himself awake to stay awake.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah. So I think it's in order to prevent him from sleepwalking, he just wants to keep himself awake is what it seems like. Right. So he's trying to keep himself awake. And then you just flash forward somewhere. Right. It's like some little like hillside town. He's on the floor and his jaw is broken, and that was just so like creepy to look at too. The way his mouth was just like distorted.
Yeah.
And he's on the floor, and it just kind of gets crazy from there too. Mm-hmm. He ends up in this. He ends up getting like people are trying to shoot him, and he's like confused because it's daytime. He's not in his bed where he thought he was. He was just on some hillside town, and people are trying to shoot him, and he doesn't know why.
Yeah. Yeah, and then that's when he starts hearing a voice in his head.
Yes, and it sounds like Venom.
And it does sound like Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah.
Thank you for ruining it.
Sorry.
I have to think of that goddamn movie every time I watch this show.
Yeah, I know. And that it kind of took me out of it because I didn't like Venom, right? So hearing the voice, I was just kind of like, why is this Venom's voice? You know? So it kind of took me out of it. What did you think about this scene though? But everything that happened, from that town, from when he went to the small town.
I liked it. I did like. I like the way they shot this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's so confused about what's going on.
Yeah.
But then, when he's in that small town, like we see, this is when we see Ethan Hawke's character come in, and
Arthur,
and everybody just kind of,
like
he's a messiah.
Yeah.
So we see that he has the scales tattooed on him,
right?
And this is how he judges people, or like he lets the scales do the judgment, basically.
Right.
And if the scales judge that you're a bad person, it just sucks your life force out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've had a few girlfriends like that.
Stop! No, oh my god. So like if you're a good person, they turn green and they let you live, I guess. If you're a bad person, or if you're gonna be a bad person,
I feel like What is the what would you gain from them being green? Like, why would anybody volunteer to have their scales measured?
Well,
what do you gain?
Well, they're worshiping him at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, I guess because they believe in the idea, you know, it's almost like there's a story that I remember from like high school where like there's this small town and like every year they pick out rocks, right? And then one of the like if the rock is black, you're the one that gets killed. That
okay?
Yeah, it's a very twisted story, right? And so like kind of people debate whether like in the story the person gets the black rock. I might be confusing this story, but from what I recall, person gets a black rock. They debated. They're like, no, like why should I be the one that has to die? Blah blah. And it's like it's been the tradition. It's been like how they population controlled their area and kept themselves all together. But it just goes back to this story, right? Like it goes back to like, well, they believe in it, so they understand that they are gonna have to sacrifice themselves because of the influence of this character. You know, whether it's religious, whether it's just what they believe in, because that's just always how they believe things in that small town. They just go based on the judgment that they got. So that's what I'm taking from it. You know, they have to accept it because it's just part of them. Now, in that moment, like she kind of said, well, I've always been a good person, right?
Yeah.
He was already holding her hand. She was going to die anyway.
Yep.
And so I think at that point, regardless of where you stood with it, you were, if the scales were red, she like for the lady, she died, you know.
Yeah.
She was killed. So.
Then I'm thinking, like, if the scales are green, what do you have to gain? So why person. Yeah, but why do it at all? If you do it and it's green, you live. If you do it and it's red, you die. But if you don't do it at all, you just live.
Well, and maybe everybody's supposed to do it. I don't. They didn't really dive into it.
I thought they volunteered.
So it's just anybody. I mean, so you have to volunteer, is what you're saying?
No, I thought that's what happened. I thought they just volunteered.
Well, he volunteered to go first.
Yeah,
I feel like I think he pointed that out. I think he was like, oh, like thank you for volunteering to go first, you know, and then that's where he got saved. Oh. Well, he was good, you know.
Yeah.
And then later on, we do get an explanation about. We get an explanation more or less about like what that power means to him, who's Arthur, right, and how Amit,
AMUT, wasn't it?
I thought it was AMMIT. Amit.
Is it? Okay.
Okay. And I had the subtitles on, so I'm probably right. No, no, but so like, and this is where earlier in the show we talked about how the Armenian genocide was talked about. So Arthur kind of talks about Amit and how she was able to like figure out if a person was good across their entire like existence, basically past, present, and future. So if and Arthur
Harrow's his last name. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Arthur Harrow.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's cool. To know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he talks about Amit and how Amit, if she would have been around, she would have been able to stop a lot of these major like tragic, terrible events that happened along timelines, right? Along the timeline. But she was betrayed by her fellow gods, but she was also betrayed by her avatar, which to me was kind of like leading to maybe what's going to happen in the story later on, type of thing too.
Yes.
You know? And then what did you think about the fighting? Well, the fighting scene, the bus,
the action scene.
The action scene, yes.
It was again. I thought it was well done. Like Oscar Isaac is a really good actor.
Yeah, he is.
He was very Tom Holland like in this because that's all I kept thinking. Like, he's not Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. He was Tom Holland like. Yeah, like just that awkward.
Yeah.
Because he also gives up his identity like real quick.
Yeah,
like, I'm Stephen Grant. I work at the gift shop.
Yeah.
He was really quick about it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was well done, especially because I think it's definitely a way to explain away action scenes.
Yeah.
Where with low budgets.
Yeah.
Like for instance in Deadpool, where he gets his action scene, but they didn't have the budget for a big shoot 'em up action scene, so they just kept saying he forgot the guns.
Yeah.
So in here, like what we get is he
blacks out.
Blacks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when he comes to, the action already happened.
Yeah.
We missed it.
Yeah.
But you don't feel like you're missing anything at the same time.
Right.
Like you're there with the character. You're there with Steven at that point.
Yes.
And you just see what he sees.
Yes.
And I thought that was very well done.
It was, yeah.
I laughed so hard when he threw the gun at him.
Yeah. At the car, right?
Yeah. And you get the voice like, no, the idiot's back.
Yeah.
But I just laughed so hard when he just throws the gun.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was very Steven, right? Where Steven was very like awkward, didn't know what to do. He's like, why am I going through? Yeah. Why am I going through all this? Yeah. But he's hearing voices, in his head the whole time. And yeah, I did like the jumps, like he would black out and you would see, like people on the floor dead, and things like that. So it was pretty intense. That scene. Even down to like that whole hillside that they were going down, that whole scene was pretty interesting. And to like the last two guys that got like taken out by logs, and he just blacked out again, and that was it. It was a really good scene. Like that whole
it was fun too.
Yeah, it was.
Murders never looked so fun.
Yeah,
but he woke up days later.
Yes, Sunday. He thought it was Friday,
and. Yeah, so he had his date.
Yeah, he missed his date, actually.
He missed his date. So he shows up, but he's also vegan, so he doesn't know how to order steak. And that was just adorable.
Yeah, and at first, I missed it, because I saw it twice. At first, I missed that part of the story, and I'm like, oh, duh, he doesn't know how to order meat, because he doesn't eat meat. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting. It was pretty funny. Super awkward. Super awkward, yeah.
But it was very well done, again.
Yes.
And then we see that he's rocking a Motorola Razr phone.
Well, he was hiding. He was hiding it, right? Like he started realizing things weren't making sense. Oh, he thought he was in a dream. Which is when he came to. It turns out it was 2 days later. He didn't understand what was going on. You're right. He ends up finding like a Razr phone hiding in like this like special like little compartment in his building, and on his Razr phone, he talks to somebody, and I can't remember her name. But he talks to Layla. He talks to Layla, like a character named Layla, and she's calling him by Mark.
Yeah.
Right.
What I also didn't get was, why would she just not assume that somebody else has the phone?
Yeah, and then he has an accent.
Yeah, because he has an accent.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the confidence that Mark has, obviously.
Yeah.
He doesn't know who she is.
Right.
Why are you talking like that, Mark?
Yeah.
Like, why would you not be like, oh, so did you find this phone? Like, he even tells her, like, I just found this phone.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you talking about, Mark?
Yeah. And then she like clicks on him or something,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. She was very persistent about it. I'm like, okay, why not just believe him? Like he does sound a bit different, And that's when he starts hearing, I guess, Mark's voice, because he's hearing somebody talking, and he walks with the Razr phone in hand. He walks to the restroom, and he opens his restroom, and there's like a mirror, and you could tell that the mirror is him, right?
Yeah.
But he's kind of doing different things, like he's not holding the phone up, than what Steven is doing.
Yeah, because we do get that classic split personality mirror scene.
Yeah.
That we see every time there's a split personality.
Yeah, but I thought that they were doing it pretty cool. Yeah,
it was well done.
I felt like it was unique enough too.
Unique enough. Because we saw the same thing in Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, with who?
With
Green Goblin. Yeah. Yeah, I felt like it did it, and then. Like I like the elevator scene too, Yeah. So they get into the elevator and like he's just seeing this like figure, like a tall Egyptian like figure, like it looks like it has mummy. It's mummified. Yeah, mummified. But it has bandages lower, like it's from the neck down. It has like a bird's head almost, or a bird's skull.
Yeah.
And it's holding like a giant staff with a moon on it. So. So and I thought the vibe of it was like kind of intense, kind of scary,
Mm-hmm.
like so it was, to me it was like it did the job. And then again you kind of see the personality kind of split up in the mirror, like in the background, like as much as you should. And then it does, like he just kind of I guess comes to again, and the old lady scene was like
It was played for laughs.
Yeah, that was it.
I dropped my contact. I hope you find it.
Yeah, she was freaking out.
Yeah, and it's just like they're expecting me here.
Yeah.
So later on, I mean, Steven still managed to go to work.
Yeah. He's seeing that figure along in places,
and he also notices that he's being followed by Arthur.
Yes, in the museum, right?
And again, it was funny when he tells the security guard, like, "Oh, don't let anybody sketch you in." He's like, "It's a museum; it's free to get in."
Yeah,
I'm just gonna let people in.
Yeah, he kept calling him Scotty.
Yeah,
yeah.
So he meets up with Arthur, and there's like he's confronted by Arthur. He's like, "I thought you were lying about who you were."
Yeah,
but I looked it up and.
Here you are.
Yeah. So he starts telling him he's like, "Oh, Amut's the world's first boogeyman."
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Amit.
Uh-huh. And I also noticed that Steven rambles when he's nervous. And it's cute.
Yeah.
He just starts talking.
Yeah.
And then Arthur tries. Oh, yeah, all the people. Even the security guard at the museum are part of this little cult.
Yeah, so there's like 3 or 4 people that are surrounding him in this area. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's just being held, not really captive, but they're allowing this conversation. They're forcing this conversation upon Steven. Yeah.
So he takes his hands and he measures his personality. His deeds,
his evilness.
You sure?
I don't know. He comes out balanced. Nothing happens, right?
Well, we don't find out. He looks surprised and he goes, "The scale said you," and that's when the door opens and he takes off running.
Well, he didn't kill him though. Like I feel like he would have been able to kill him pretty instantly.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it makes the most sense. That he's balanced. Yeah. Like perfectly balanced.
Yeah. And then this scene they kind of mention where Amit's person, like avatar, quote unquote, like also betrayed her. And I just thought that because I kind of they talk about Amit's history and stuff like that, and it sounds like Amit does possess people or does go into a person and then and then like in a lifetime betrayed her. Mm-hmm. So which is why she ends up getting captured or whatever happened to her, because it's not really clear. Like it just sounds like she got betrayed and she doesn't have the same powers or is not able to do the same things that she was able to do, aside from what Arthur does now, which is kind of help balance the good and evil.
Yes.
Yeah. He ends up, Steven ends up doing inventory. Did you want to add something about that? Sorry. No. Okay. So Steven ends up doing inventory, staying late at the museum. And he's hearing like
snarl
or like a whimpering dog at first. So
that's right.
It was pretty creepy. Yes. Don't go towards a whimpering dog, like in a museum
or a child.
Yeah. Like if you hear children giggling, hey, let the security guards know. Yeah. I also don't understand why they always turn out the lights at this place when I'm still in there. I know I'm not really there.
Yeah.
But usually lights go off
there.
Yeah. Usually lights go off when you leave, like, come on, like don't put us through this, he decides to go towards the whimpering dog.
Yeah.
And it was creepy.
Very much so. And then
he gets attacked. Yeah, he gets attacked by this crazy Egyptian dog mummy thing, and to be honest, I don't feel like we got a really great look at it, which I think added more to the scene. Yeah, like, I really because I'm just trying to look at what it looks like, and I think that part of part of the fear is that kind of that mystery, exactly. Like you're seeing this thing crawling around, you're seeing them like jump, you're seeing them attack on Steven, and you're just like, man, like what exactly does it look like? Because it kind of almost has hair, like I picture like a dog's face, but almost like half human dog, because of the body type it is too. And then like a werewolf, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then it has like long, like grayish hair, kind of like, coming down across its face and stuff like that. And it's just chasing them through halls. It even climbs up on the roof and is chasing them that way too. Yeah. Like it was an intense scene. And that's when he just kind of throws himself, he locks himself up in a restroom.
Yeah.
And that restroom doesn't make sense now that I think about it.
Why?
Because it's was it a bunch of sinks and a bunch of like stalls? I mean, a bunch of like urinals?
I don't think there were urinals.
No?
Only. Pretty sure there were stalls.
Oh, okay. I just remember mirrors all around.
Well, it wasn't all around. It was all
around.
There was a scene that it looked like it was all around.
Yeah. So this is when to me this just got like pretty amazing. I'm really into this show so far. I have to say I really like it. In this scene, like it's just he's in the restroom. He's like he can hear now Mark's voice, right? Mark is the other personality. What do you say something?
Oh, it's I was just looking at it, and it's yeah, it has sinks all around.
Oh, okay.
But I think it might be one of those restrooms where there's
separated.
The area with all the sinks, and then the area with the urinals. And
Got
stalls.
it. Behind the other glass door.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Weird. Anyway, so he locks himself in this restroom, and this monster is just trying to beat up the door and get into him. Oh my god, that's not what I was gonna say. Get into the restroom where Steven is locked up, and that's when the voice of Mark comes up again. So yeah, we get this whole argument between Mark and Steven.
Yeah, so yeah, Mark this is when Mark makes an appearance, and he starts telling Steven, like, give me control.
Yes.
And Steven's like, what are you talking about? Like,
how? Well, like it's like
yeah,
he doesn't want to realize, I guess, that he does have a different personality in him. Mm-hmm. I thought this was cool though. When he's going convulsing, as you said, right? He's kind of like letting Mark take over. The like kind of the animal that dog thing attacks him, and you don't know what's going.
I've been really trying.
Oh my god. Although I have to say, yeah, he can get it. Yeah, so it just gets crazy from there.
Yeah, so the thing breaks in and it mounts him.
Yeah.
And we finally get to see the costume.
Yes,
kind of.
yes. Well, I mean, it was a pretty good view. Yeah.
Well, we get the costume in action.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's just him beating this dog thing up, you know. Like he drags him back in after the monster tries to crawl out. You don't really see how he flies back, but he throws him back in. All you see is like the backside of MoonKnight just kind of beating this creature up, and finally he gets up and he turns after he kills him, I guess.
Yeah, he poses for the camera.
He poses for the camera directly on, and I was all in.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I thought this was a great episode. I'm just hoping I don't get a shitty second episode, because I want this to be my second favorite series, you know, and I'm already like claiming it that. I'm hoping based on this first episode that we get this is going to be my second favorite Marvel series.
I love mythology and like Egyptian mythology. I don't know much about,
right?
But I'm really looking forward, other than what I learned in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah. But I'm really looking forward to learning more about it.
Yeah. And like Loki was my favorite series that we've seen in recent times, right? That we've talked about even. I really liked like the characters, the story, just a whole different world, you know, that we got from all of Loki, right?
And Owen Wilson.
And who?
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson was in it? Oh, yeah, he was.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, he was really good, too. That's why I don't remember him, because that's when you realized it was him. But
it was the mustache, wasn't it?
It was the mustache, yeah. It was the good acting. Anyway.
Wow.
No. Shade, I know. But no, like, this whole episode really kept me intrigued. It was a whole, like, even though it was Earth, right? Like, it was some small town. We did kind of get...
Egypt felt like a different planet.
No, I'm not saying that racist. But what I'm saying is that, like, the mythology behind it, there's so much potential. There's so much potential, right? There's this whole otherworldliness, you know, to it. You know, even the underworld type of thing, you know, that I'm really excited. I'm hoping it's really going to stay on that same pace that this... I mean, maybe not exactly the same pace, but the momentum that this first episode. Please don't give us a Halo episode 2. Please don't give us a DMZ episode 2.
3.
Episode 2. I'm talking about 2. Like the second episode wasn't that good.
It was fine.
It was okay. But MoonKnight, like, this is a great start.
Yeah.
Let's keep no Boba Fett, please. Let's keep moving forward.
Boba Fett had a great episode 2.
Okay.
Boba Fett episode 2 was my favorite.
The series was trash, right?
Yes, it fucking was.
Yeah, so MoonKnight, just be that for us. Don't be trash. In fact, if you can try to surpass Loki, I would be okay with that too. I really enjoy Loki.
Yeah.
But I really want to enjoy this. I like Oscar Isaac. I don't know anything about Moon Knight, which is great. You know, I'm going into this blind. I'm expecting a lot, to be honest, because everything else recently from Marvel has not really been my thing. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
What'd you think?
I really like this episode as well. Like I said, I love mythology.
Yeah.
I like Greek mythology was always one of my favorites, but Egyptian mythology I have found interesting.
Yeah.
I just don't know much about it.
Same.
And I really can't wait to see how they're going to incorporate all of these gods, essentially.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing. You're going into a world of gods.
Yeah.
And you're taking this lesser known character, this basically Marvel's Batman, and putting him up against gods.
Yeah.
So,
I like that he's not exactly Batman either, right? Like he has multiple personalities. The look is very is very very Batman, except all white, you know. But yeah, it looks like an owl, you know, kind of character. It was good.
Yeah,
good episode.
I mean, I'm all in. I really enjoyed it. I like Oscar Isaac's the accent could have used a little work, but you know what? Like I'll overlook it at some point. I won't even hear it.
It could do without, but I can see they did it because of the personality, you know. I also, and just a quick note about something that was happening throughout the episode. I don't believe the mom exists. His mom.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
but yeah, you're right. Because you never hear her.
You never hear her. He's always leaving her a voicemail. Yeah.
Or she's like my mom, and she only calls her when she needs money.
Oh, Jose, stop! Need a hug? Like, yes. Anyway, that got dark.
No, but yeah, I'm all in. I can't wait for next Wednesday's episode. But you're right, I do need to space things out too because Jesus Christ,
we're overwhelming ourselves.
Like this week was bad.
It was
because I also watched what we're gonna talk about next, and Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Let's take a quick break. So, spoilerific, by the way.
This fucking movie.
Wait, hold on. We have to warn about the spoilers.
This movie was already spoiled. Spoil rotten.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I like what you did
Christ.
there. Yeah.
I didn't like what they did there.
By the way, so we're gonna talk about Morbius, right? Season 1, episode 1. I'm just joking. We're gonna talk about Morbius. Okay. I do want to point out the tomato meter has a 17% critics review and 69% audience review of it. And
those are the same people that voted for fucking Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead as the best fucking movie.
Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ, this movie was an assault on my senses. Yeah. Okay, this movie was aggressively bad. This movie went out of its way to be bad. This movie was bad, and then they were like, how can we make it worse? You know what? Let's hire Jared Leto. just how the fuck do you get...
You like Jared Leto.
No, fuck him now.
Oh my God.
Okay? Like, I was like, you know what? He's pretty good in some of the things I've seen him in that aren't comic booky. But no. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I had to go home and watch Fight Club just to see that scene where they beat his ass.
Oh, yeah.
Like, this movie was so fucking bad.
Jared Leto was in Fight Club?
Yes.
Wow, I don't remember that at all.
He's the blonde guy.
The blonde guy? What the fuck? There's a blonde guy? I mean, Brad Pitt?
No, but there's a scene where they're trying to get people out of their... on Fight Club, they have the people waiting on the front porch trying to get into the club, and they're like they have people going out and berating them. Oh. And I think like Jared Leto's character is called like the beautiful one or something like that. Like that's what they refer to him as. And there's a scene where the guy's looking for something wrong with him, and he goes, "And you're too fucking blonde." So that's always what I
was.
Remember.
He a younger character? Like he was much younger, obviously, in that movie.
Yeah, but
how old is Jared Leto? Now I think about it,
I have no idea. But he gets his ass just like he gets deformed basically.
Yeah.
And Ed Norton's character afterwards.
Holy shit, he's 50 years old. I mean, does he look 50 years old? To me, I thought he was like in his 30s. That's that is crazy to me right now. I kept thinking through the whole movie. Like, what a young doctor he is. He's 50 years old. Maybe his hair's not even naturally that color.
This is what he ends up looking at, like, after the fight.
Fuck? Wow.
And Ed Norton's character says, like, after he beats him, he goes, I wanted to destroy something beautiful. But, yeah, like, my God, this movie was bad. Let's just talk about Fight Club. Fight Club was such a great movie. I highly enjoyed Fight Club.
Ew, he doesn't look beautiful. What the fuck? Before he got beat up either in Fight Club. Okay. I didn't know that was his age. That's crazy. He looks really young. I think he dyes his hair though, obviously, because
sure.
Like it's like super black. Anyway, who knows?
Well, he definitely did for Morbius.
Yeah,
you know that vampire aesthetic.
Yeah.
This movie was bad. Holy fucking shit, Jaime. I was mad. I was gonna walk out of it.
It was a bad
but then
movie.
I was like, you know what? Jaime might actually watch this whole thing, and then I'm gonna feel bad that I didn't watch it.
Yeah. Did you stay during the credits at least?
Stayed.
Oh, okay. Cool. It was okay. I do have to say I don't know if it's as bad as you're saying.
All right.
No, it was a bad. I completely. I feel like this story. This is my initial reaction about the whole movie. It could have been done in 15 minutes before Spider-Man. Like before we got into a Spider-Man movie.
I totally felt like this could have been done in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. Like honestly, like the bulk of the story could have been done and could have been told better. I feel like in like 15 minutes, and then made him a Spider-Man villain. Like that was all you had to do with him. And we've said this. We have said this about him, right?
I mean, I did say that the Spider-Man TV show did it in 2 20-minute episodes.
There you go. Exactly right. We talked about the animated series. Exactly. And it was a Spider-Man story. We did not need Morbius to be a standalone story, because what ended up happening in this movie, it was like villain versus villain. You know, and that's what happened. You know, in my opinion, like it was just like they try to give him this hero vibe, but the hero vibe didn't make sense because he was kind of a villain. You know, like he was a villain in the movie too. You know, like it was conflicting, it was confusing, and to me it wasn't even like he was like an anti-hero. It wasn't even really that. Like it was more of like he was just like a guy that was evil, and then there was another guy that was evil with him.
Eviler.
Ish. Questionable.
Matt Smith was good.
He was good in the movie.
I like Matt Smith.
I completely agree with that.
But,
I thought I was crazy.
But even listening to him talk about the movie,
yeah. But he was good in the movie. He was good in the movie.
Good. He was the best part of the movie. I'm glad I stayed long enough to see Matt Smith.
Yeah. And yeah. Okay. So, yeah. How do we dive into this movie? What should we say about it?
Hopefully not head first, because it might break our neck.
I didn't understand the time jumps that they did. Like why didn't they just start off as him as a kid, you know, and then
because they had to have that scene where, do you need me to call a doctor? I am a doctor. Fuck you.
You know how like in most stories they go back to that scene. This did not do that. Like they didn't. So they show a beginning scene. The beginning scene was where he cut, which by the way we saw in a preview, right? Yeah. We saw that whole scene in a preview, and it was like, and he cut his hands, and
the
bats were attracted to him. What was the water thing for?
Aesthetics.
So there was no reason, right? Okay, so he cut his hand, and bats came to him, and then they jumped 25 years in the past to when he was a child. You know.
Because we have to meet Milo.
Which now that I think about it, doesn't make sense because he's 50 years old. He wasn't okay.
I don't fucking know, man. I watched the same movie you watched.
Yeah. Yeah, they were sickly kids. He was a sick man up until, you know, he wasn't. Up until this whole situation happened with the bats.
So they go to international waters to do these experiments.
Yeah.
And that's when he becomes Batman.
Yeah. So Morbius' story is revolving around him trying to cure his sickness.
Yes.
Right? What is his sickness?
It's some blood disease.
Okay, but they don't really say, right?
I don't think so. They might have, and my brain just crapped out.
Yeah. I don't know if they gave the full effect of what they were trying to do with that part of the story too. Like they were trying to imply that he was trying to save the world. Mm-hmm. You know, they had a little girl who had a similar sickness to him,
and he had created artificial blood.
Artificial blood, yes. True blood, yeah. You also had Milo, who was also suffering from a similar disease. Milo's original name was Lucien. And I kept getting kind of confused about that because he just accepted his name at a certain point. And I was just kind of like, wait, why? He just said he was Lucian a minute ago. Why is he okay with that now? But they try to set up this whole thing about him trying to save the world or trying to save kids. Mm-hmm. And again, I don't know if they really were able to like set that up correctly.
And why did Tyrese need to be in this movie?
Why did Gonzalez? I don't even know that guy's. I think his name was Gonzalez. And mind you,
I'm not saying by you.
There was a cop duo in this.
That didn't need to be in it.
They did not. And then Tyrese's character, I couldn't take him seriously because maybe I'm used to seeing him in funny roles. So it was almost like they reversed his role with Gonzalez, his partner or whatever his name. I think his name was Gonzalez. Maybe I am. I'm not trying to be racist, but I swear that was his name in the movie. And then he like that character didn't make sense why they were trying to make him so funny at a certain point. Like, why did he have to have a joke or a punchline there? He just had a dopey face the whole time.
Rodriguez.
Oh my God, close enough. Adolfo. Okay, I'm racist. I'm sorry. I mean, but it was a cliche last name, so I'm sorry. Rodriguez isn't Gonzalez. I did not mean to confuse you two together. But just that duo, yeah, you're right. Like, it didn't make sense. Like,
There's a YouTube channel I watch called Cinema Sins.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that too.
Yeah, so every time Tyrese is in a movie, they'll always highlight one of his overacting part. Okay. And the narrator will just go, "Earn that paycheck, Tyrese." Yeah. And that just always makes me laugh.
Do they add points or subtract points?
No, they always add points.
Add points?
Sins, yeah. Because he's just overacting and they're just like, "Earn that paycheck."
Yeah.
Paycheck, Tyrese.
Yeah, but he was being really mild in this one, considering.
But every time I saw him, my brain just said, "Earn that paycheck, Tyrese."
Yeah,
but I didn't like. Yeah, there was no need for him.
Yeah. The ship scene was trash.
Okay, so in the ship scene, this doctor's like, "Don't shoot," and they push her, and then she's in a coma for like a month.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I did not understand that either.
They pushed her.
Yeah.
She fell.
Yeah, and she was pretty bitchy. I'm sorry. She was like, "Oh, like I just woke up in a hospital, like eating some like shitty Jello." It's like, why? Because you got pushed. Yes, why are you so? Yeah, and she had a ventilator. Yes. Like she had a. Why? It really did not make sense why she had a ventilator. Bitch didn't get bit. Like what the fuck?
It just makes me think of. I used to watch wrestling when I was a kid. And there was this feud between Stone Cold Steve Austin
and The Rock
and Mr. McMahon.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And there was a part where Mr. McMahon like he broke his leg.
Yeah.
And they put him in a hospital with like things up his nose and like with a broken leg. Yeah. And like he's in this hospital with like things up his nose and like with the rope. And then Stone Cold like hits him with a bedpan.
Yeah. I wonder if they really think that people don't understand like how this would have worked. Like she legit just got pushed. Like maybe she hit her head, but she wasn't like she was breathing. Yeah, it's not like because she would have been dead, right? So and that whole ship scene was set up to like because they had to go out into international waters because he created a cure for his disease, right? That involved bats, right? So in order to be able to do the tests on humans, which was going to be himself, he needed to go out into international waters, right? I didn't understand her attitude towards the guys that were out there, like the mercenaries, I guess, because they were there willingly in a sense, you know, like she was there willingly, like she was just being like really rude, and I was like, why is she so mad at them? Like, what did they do? Like, well, you're just trash of a person type of thing, that it's almost like what the conversation was.
They also have that cliche like, hey nurse, I'm a doctor. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Like, we know women are doctors. It's 2022,
and they were trying to make
them so fucking surprised?
Because it's almost like they were trying to make them villains too.
Yes, they were trying to make you feel like he was justified.
Yes,
in taking them out.
And so he injects himself.
And this wasn't even as well done as Vigilante with and this male nurse.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Like, it was just set up because it was almost like she was being held captive, but she wasn't. Because she went willingly, right? Yeah. She was on there with them. There was no reason for her to be rude to them, but she was just mad for whatever reason. It was weird. It was weird. And then so like he ends up becoming Morbius, right? Like he ends up becoming a vampire who can't control his hunger, so he takes out all the bad guys, all the bad guys who were there voluntarily.
Yep, all the bad guys that they paid to be there.
Right? So
Also, why did you have to go into international waters? I understand that the experiment was illegal, but you conducting this experiment in quote unquote a legal space, and then coming back with the results into a place where it's illegal does not automatically make that legal.
Logic.
Like there's no reason for you to be on a ship in the middle of nowhere except for quote unquote story purposes.
Story purposes, to make it seem like, I don't know what they were trying to make it seem. Try to make it seem a little creepy, scary. And I did have to say though, like I think this is what Sony's been doing well, at least with the character design. He looked creepy. He looked like evil. Like I think about Carnage's initial scene when he popped out and you just get this crazy ass shadow of him, and I thought it was a really crazy, like intense scene. And I feel like they can do that. Like you can make a scary movie with Morbius and Spider-Man, and they don't do it. And they didn't do it. It was just like Morbius on the ship, It kind of resembles that scene actually. Now I think about the Carnage scene where he's just killing people that are bad, because they're just in that environment. It was a throwaway scene. I did like the design of Morbius when he was in vampire mode. But you know what I didn't get either? Like he because he flies at a certain point, right?
Oh, he just figures out he can fly.
Yeah, randomly. Which was weird though, because he had already done it before that though. He had already been, or I guess he was jumping really far. Is that what it was? Okay, so why is it that his waves, or like his, how when he's flying, why is it that they change color with his clothes?
I fucking know. Aesthetics.
I get it. I get it. But I'm saying, like, you have to give some logic behind it.
You don't.
You fucking do, because this is why the movie's bad. It was bad. He ends up killing a bunch of people on a ship, and this is why this is why Tyrese and Rodriguez.
That paycheck,
Tyrese and Rodriguez show up is because they're investigating this whole situation. She's in the hospital, knocked out. What's her name? Martine. Yes, she's in the hospital, knocked out. They think it has something to do with him, but they're not sure. I don't
fucking know. This movie was bad.
What else? What else was terrible about this movie?
Okay, I can do this.
You can make it.
The dialogue in this movie was bad. I just feel like people don't talk like that.
Yeah.
The dialogue was specifically to get you from plot point to plot point.
Yeah.
There was no organic dialogue. There was no conversation. It didn't feel like any of these characters. None of these characters had any chemistry.
Yeah.
Because with Martine and Morbius, his little love story, like they had no chemistry together.
Yeah, it was just thrown in. It felt like it was just thrown in. Yeah.
And
at the end too.
Oh, at the end, fucking she becomes a vampire too.
Oh, like yeah. So
I don't know how all of a sudden bites turn you, because that's really not explained.
No, well, yeah, you're right.
Because all of the
people he bit,
the mercenaries, none of them turned.
Yeah. So. Yeah. He's a bad guy, like he's still a bad guy. I know he's trying to control himself. There was also, I know he's trying to control himself, right? Like he's not eating people, but he thinks he's eating people. So that's what was like kind of confusing me too. Like how do you not know at this point? Like if you're controlling your hunger with your fake blood, like how do you not know when you're transforming? If he knew, like he was supposed to know, and I don't think they were doing that right. They also he does eventually get put in jail because they're investigating that whole ship situation. One of the nurses ends up dying, gets killed, which we thought was by him. I thought it was by him too. And it was just weird the way that they were trying to tie in the Milo situation too, because it was like trying to imply that he got the serum somehow and he injected himself, but they never really explained exactly how it happened. You know, it was bad.
He just did it and then killed the doctor. And another fucking thing I didn't understand. So he slashes the doctor's stomach. Yeah. And the doctor's sitting there dying.
Oh, his doctor friend.
Yeah.
Nicola.
Yeah. Nicholas. And then he calls Jared Leto. He calls Morbius.
Yeah.
To just be like, oh, it's Lucian, like Loxian.
Lucian? Milo?
Loxius. Milo. Loxius.
That's his last name?
No, Loxius. Loxius Crown.
Was that the tie to the character? Wait, what happened?
That's his name, Loxius Crown. But they were calling him Lucian, huh?
They were calling him Lucian.
Yeah, because here he's titled as Loxius. He's credited as Loxius.
Oh.
All right, so we had some technical difficulties. Yes. So Adolfo's going to work some magic, and hopefully you guys have no idea. But other than me just telling everybody. So
spoiler.
The part I was talking about before what happened. So Lucian slashes at the doctor, right? Mm-hmm. And the doctor then calls Morbius. And he's just like, stop, Lucian. Yeah. And then Morbius drives down to the doctor, finds him still alive just in time to be like, Lucian did this. Yeah. And then, and the whole time I'm thinking, why didn't you call an ambulance, bro?
Yeah. Why are you just laying there dying?
Yeah. Like you had a phone on you. Yeah. You called Morbius. Yeah. Why didn't you call an ambulance? They probably would have gotten there faster. Yeah. They could have done more than he could have.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot of like kind of overdone scenes, you know, like even in that scene, like you're talking about, like when Lucian cuts him, he goes, go tell Morbius about this or some shit like that is what he said, right? It was just like, why? Like, why does he have to tell him, you know? Like, why not? Are you just showing him like a picture or something? I don't know. Like it was just kind of like overdone for like and the doctor was there through most of the movie, right? Like he was there. But again, it was kind of like almost like making it seem like Morbius it was just like trying to tug at an emotional part, and it was just like not really there either, you know. You know what I didn't get either, like the way that they try to show him understanding his powers, like all of a sudden, like he understood, like like how they could have.
I got some kind of bat radar.
Yeah. Like it was like he just, it was like everything was forced, right? Like how did you go from not thinking you can walk, right, to then just jumping up a fucking glass container and hanging upside down? Like how did you realize that? You know, like maybe if you have the powers of a bat, you have the tendencies of a bat, so you just want to do that. But he doesn't even really know when he's. Oh, I see what you're saying. But he doesn't really. No. I see how you're trying to say that they were trying to imply it, but it was weird. And even when he went into the container with the bats had been doing the same shit over and over. So what led you to believe that the bats saw you as a brother? Like how did you understand that? You know, did you talk to the bat? His flying, the same thing with the flying, right?
He just knew.
He just all of a sudden, like in the subway, like he just realized he could fly in front of a train. Like, and then why didn't that train stop at any point? You know, there was a bigger scene like towards the end where it was him versus Lucian, right? Where he just Kamehameha'd all these bats at him.
Okay, so in that fucking scene, all right. So what happens, and I go, he's not gonna call a bunch of bats, is he? If he calls a bunch of bats, I will walk out of this shit right here.
He was like knocked out, right? And then he started vibrating.
Yeah, so like that, what he does that thing, and then I was like, if he calls a bunch of bats, I'm walking out of this fucking movie.
Did you walk out?
And then like he falls, and I was like, okay, cool. There weren't a bunch of. Here come the fucking bats. I almost walked out, and I would have walked out if this
not for this.
I mean, I would have made it that far.
Yeah. It was very reminiscent of what happened with Nightwing in Titans, where Garth turned into a bat, and then they carried off Nightwing's body to the.
I forgot about that. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Why
do you keep going from bad to worse? Is that worse?
They've been doing
feels like a
bad.
move.
No, honestly, this was worse because there was a lot more bats. He summoned bats, right, to help him
because there are that many bats in New York.
Exactly, there were that many fucking bats in New York, and because he only had like however many of these Colombian bats or wherever they were from, he only had like 30 of them himself, but he summoned somehow all these other magical bats, and then he Kamehameha'd the bats. Like no joke, that's what he did. Like he go bats, like just throwing bat powers at Lucian the whole time, and it was just like. And also, he could get that serum inside of him, right? Like at the point, I honestly would have been more impressed with the bats just killing the guy himself, because that was your power. You're launching bats, like at least do that. It was that. It was so. I'm like, did he just Kamehameha bats? And he did. He did. It was legit that. Back to Martine's character, right? There was that whole love thing, and the reason Morbius gets so upset at a certain point is because of the fact that Martine ends up getting like clawed by Lucian, right? Like he sticks a claw in her neck, and he hears it with his magical bat powers from where the fuck he's at, right? And she's dying, right? She's dying, and she's like dying, and Morbius shows up to her, by her side, and they kind of kiss. No. Okay. So they kiss. Okay, they kiss, and she bites him. I was like, wait. She just told him, like,
eat me.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to say that. She told him, you know what, just suck my blood out because like make me worth it, make my death worth it, or some shit like that, right? Because he's a vampire, right? And instead she bites him and licks her lips of his blood. It was.
I didn't even notice that.
I did. It was gross. It was gross in my opinion. Like it was just gross. That moment was gross because she bit him. A drop of blood comes off of him. She licks it up and then she dies because he eats her. Like he drains her of blood, right? And it didn't, like, he became even more Morbius because he had the red, but them calling it blue and red, it was so stupid.
Oh, blue is artificial.
Yeah, but it was so stupid. No, it was so stupid. And then they try to make it seem like a drug. Again, True Blood, very reminiscent of like even True Blood stuff, right? But it was like, oh, how do you feel like when you're on the red? When he drinks blood, you mean? Like when he's like eating people, like, come on, stop saying it that way. Like they were trying to overdo the vampireness, and it goes again. It was going from like he's a bad guy to he's a good guy. He's in jail, then he's not. Then Lucian is a bad guy. Then Morbius is still technically a bad guy. He murdered a bunch of people on a ship. Like, so why did we need all of this movie? And yeah, it was bad. I don't even know what else to add about it, except for like the end credit scenes.
So
those happen.
Inexplicably, Adrian Toomes just manifest in this prison.
Yeah. And in the wrong world, essentially.
In the wrong world.
Yeah. Now we see obviously effects of Doctor Strange's power in this world, because that's what the whole purple vibe was in the sky, right? I mean, by the way, guys, if you didn't know this was spoilers.
Spoilers.
He ends up in this world. He gets let go because they can't. He's not the Vulture. Yeah, he's not the Vulture in this world.
Yeah, he hasn't committed any crimes.
Yeah, he hasn't committed any crimes in this world. And this to me didn't make sense. Like the way they try to place him in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, but I mean, thankfully, he has a way to build his
Vulture suit. Yeah.
Without the alien technology that he used to build his Vulture suit.
Yeah. There was two scenes. The one was where he initially came into the world, and then this other scene with Morbius. Okay. Yeah. This scene pissed me off, honestly, because this scene tried to imply a Sinister Six situation when we had a Sinister 5. Right? Number one, he wasn't even in that movie. Right? Like, no. Vulture was not in that movie. Okay. There was no reason for Morbius to even consider this situation. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Spider-Man did not do anything to him in this movie, right? Spider-Man wasn't even in this fucking movie, right?
Nope.
There was no even
I think this has to do with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And we could really make something happen.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Yeah, like why? Why would you even entertain that? Is Spider-Man
hold on, Spider-Man?
Yeah.
He sounds like someone I want to fight.
Yeah, like for no reason. Spider-Man did not do anything to Morbius. Now, had this been in another movie, a Spider-Man movie where something happened, maybe you don't want to tie in all the bad guys together. That's fine, The multiversal thing that happened in the last Spider-Man movie that would have made sense, right? Made sense with all those characters who died, right? You can't try to imply a Sinister Six situation now when Morbius had nothing to do with Spider-Man. Like in this movie, this was not a Spider-Man movie. This was Morbius. Morbius did this to himself, right? He had his own villain. This character could have just been a 15-minute like development in a Spider-Man movie, and instead it got its own whole movie.
Could have been
a
YouTube video.
Good, yeah, good point. Like a good prequel to
just an 8-minute YouTube video,
yeah,
complete with ads and the subscribe. Hit that like button.
Yeah. I like that we got to see the Vulture suit again, but it was just it the way they try to make it seem almost like an Avengers initiative type of thing, was just like no, Sony, I'm sorry. Like you're gonna do more. You're gonna do the Spider-Man universe, like the DC universe. Like they're throwing it in the trash. Honestly, they really are. This was not something to really look forward to of anything else. I don't know what even Spider-Man is going to be in it.
I don't fucking know, man.
So are you excited about Madam Web? Kraven the Hunter? No, I am not.
Dude,
even looking
I
forward
think
to that.
Kraven would have been a much better, because they've shown kind of like a screenshot of like a picture, a leaked photo of Aaron Taylor Johnson walking around with no shoes in like New York.
Okay.
And I'm just like, if you're gonna do a Kraven movie, just leave him in that jungle.
Yeah.
Like the what's it called? I can't remember what it's called.
I don't know either.
But it's like that jungle with the dinosaurs and stuff.
Oh.
Like just make him, like just keep him there.
Yeah.
Keep him hunting there.
Yeah.
Or like make this a story about a trip for him to go hunt over here because his doctor is trying to study what's going on in this jungle of dinosaurs, like the center of the earth type world.
Yeah.
Like don't give me this. George of the Jungle goes to New York. Fucking need that.
This is
unless it's
that's
Brendan
what I'm
Fraser.
saying.
I'll watch that.
And that's what I'm saying, dude. Like they're DCEUing the Spider-Verse, and no bueno. It's not good. Morbius was not good. This was not a good movie. It was like I don't know her. Like G-Spot, no.
Fuck, man.
It was just as bad as you're saying, Jose. I agree. A lot of it didn't make sense.
Matt Smith was good.
Matt Smith was good. He was, and Adolfo was like he was
that poor guy was working his ass off to try to make something out of that script.
Did you see the classic scene of a Sony villain dancing? Like it reminded me of the Venom scene from Spider-Man 3. Where he had the black suit and he just starts dancing. Like, but Matt Smith was good. Yeah, that's the only reason you should watch it. But don't. Don't.
As much as I love him, just don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Just let it go.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I take it your G-spot was tapped.
Oh my fucking God, man. This was a drunken stupor.
Who's that Pokemon?
Welcome back to another JaimesPokedex. I'm Professor Jaime, as I've said before. Professor Jaime. I'm from the Pokemon world. I don't even know where I'm going with this.
No, you're doing great.
I'm totally... hold on, I got to see myself in video.
I feel like I got to have a costume too now.
So I told Opho that, like, if things don't continue to work out, it's going to be called Dr. What was it? Dr. Jose and Professor Jaime? For because you're Doctor Who, Pokemon World type of thing. All right, you ready to learn something from me?
Who's that
Pokemon? Thank you. Welcome back.
Come on.
Welcome back.
It's Professor Jaime.
Yes, hello. Oh wow, I feel so welcome. My audio was your audio glitching? No,
Nope.
Okay, it's just my ear. Okay. Once again, JaimesPokedex is why we're here, and this is why I'm wearing my lab coat, because I've promoted myself to a professor, as I said before. And this week we're gonna be talking about some Pokemon. Duh.
Oh.
This week we're gonna talk about Sneasel. Sneasel. I'll show it on Instagram later. Weavile. Ooh.
Ah.
And Sneasler.
Wow.
Thank you. All right, Sneasel is National Pokedex number 215. They were originally introduced in Gold and Silver, so Pokemon Gold and Silver. And actually the one that you see on the right side there, that's a Hisuian Sneasel. So he's from Legends Arceus. Yeah, that's why it's different. Yeah. See, I'm happy you understand that.
Of course.
It's categorized as the Sharp Claw Pokemon. And there's two different types. So the one on the left, which is the original one, is Dark and Ice.
Okay.
And the Hisuian version is Poison and Fighting. Yeah, that's a really weird, not even related to each other. It's so weird. Again, I'm covering them because he's one of the featured Pokemon in Pokemon Legends Arceus. So in Johto, Sneasel is seen as the cunning Pokemon. This cunning Pokemon hides under cover of darkness, waiting to attack its prey. All right. That's very you. Yes. You really had lots of Pokemon. In Hoenn, Sneasel scales trees by punching its hooked claws into the bark. The Pokemon seeks out unguarded nests and steal eggs for food while the parents are away. Pidgeys especially.
Okay.
So sad. Poor Pidgeys. In Alola, it blends into the dark of night to ambush its prey. Sneasel will attack Sandshrew, but its hard skin can cause Sneasel's claws to snap off. And then, poor Sneasel. But no, Sneasel are evil. They're pretty evil creatures. It sounds like they're dark types. And in Hisui,
that's racist.
Not color wise, their typing is dark.
Okay.
I think it's interesting that in other countries they have different names. Like in Spain,
categories.
No, dark type is called Sinister or Sinestro or como le decían.
Left-handed.
Left-handed.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Oh, left-handed people were considered to be sinister, and that's where that word comes from.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Sinister side and the la siniestra, la diestra.
Oh, wow. Wait, how do you say sinister in Spanish again? Sinistro.
Yeah.
So when we were playing Pokemon in Spanish. In Spain, people were calling it Sinestro, and we were like, what? Sinestro? Sinistro. Bitch. Okay. Anyway, I just think it's really interesting that they call them different things like that in other countries.
Yeah, who would have thought that they would have had different...
Shut up, how?
different words for them in different languages.
How else isn't there for dark, right? There's another word.
What are they going to call them? Oscuros?
Oscuros, yeah. ¿Por qué no?
Because it just doesn't translate well.
Yeah.
Like Doctor Who isn't Doctor Quien.
Anyway, back to Pokemon. And then so in regards to the first Sneasel, because it's also in Hisui, the professor wrote, the Pokemon shares roots with the Sneasel of Hisui, but unlike the species, this one is spiteful in personality, so the dark one. I hypothesize that water and earth can affect Sneasel's mind and body. I don't know what that means now I think about it, because I've never heard of anything like that in Pokemon.
I don't know. You're the professor.
I know, I'm still learning. And then about the Hisui Sneasel, its sturdy curved claws are ideal for traversing precipitous cliffs. From the tips of these claws drips a venom that infiltrates the nerves of any prey caught in Sneasel's grasp.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty creepy. Weavile is the next one I'm covering, like I told you. National Pokedex number 461, and it was introduced in Diamond and Pearl. So it wasn't initially an evolution. It came like later on in Generation 4. It's also categorized as the Sharp Claw Pokemon. Its typing is also Dark and Ice. It evolves from Sneasel. So Sneasel has to hold the Razor Claw at night and level up to be able to evolve into it.
Okay.
That's the Razor Claw for you right there.
Ooh.
All right, thank you. Okay, so the Razor Claw, an item to be held by a Pokemon. This sharply hooked claw increases the holder's critical hit ratio. So this item also affects his attack in the game, which is pretty cool. So Weavile, in Sinnoh, I learned that evolution made it even more devious. It communicates by clawing signs in boulders, frost-covered trees, and ice. So yeah, it does hieroglyphics. In Alola, they dwell in cold places. This Pokemon's main food source in Alola is Vulpix and Sandshrew, which they carefully divide among their group. Oh,
okay.
Poor Pokemon. It eats them. I didn't know this. I learned this today.
I mean, I would imagine that some Pokemon eat other Pokemon.
Poor Vulpix and Sandshrew. They're cute. In Galar, they
taste delicious.
Ooh, poor things. In Galar, they attack their quarry in packs. Prey as large as mammal swine easily fall to the teamwork of a group of Weavile.
Wow.
They sound like raptors almost to me.
Oh, I was thinking wolves.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
No, Raptors is cool too.
Well, but that's from like
Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then Hisui about this Weavile. The species corners praised as a pack under the guidance of a leader. Weavile displays increased cunning, leading me to speculate that its evolution caused further brain development. So it's a lot smarter. It does sound like raptors. Like the more I was reading about it, I was like, these are raptors, but they're cats. Sneasler was introduced in Pokemon Legends Arceus.
Ooh.
All right, this one is National Pokedex number 903. It was introduced in Pokemon Legends Arceus, and this is categorized as a free climb Pokemon.
Same.
Its type is poison and fighting. Again, I don't know why the extreme change in types. This one,
the first one was fighting also, right? One of them was fighting.
Well, the baby one.
Yeah.
But
wasn't
this
that poison and fighting?
This is poison and fighting. Yeah, but so the reason I kind of say that about it is because this one existed first.
Yeah.
Since Generation 2. This one was created recently in Generation 8 or in the Legends Arceus, but this is Dark and Ice. And usually like when they evolve or if there's a regional change, it's like something relating to like their original typings.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you could say like maybe
like
water.
you could go to New York, but you're not going to be Puerto Rican.
Right. Yeah. I'm still going to be Salvadorian.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Unless I have a baby with a Puerto Rican, then my baby.
But that baby's still half Salvadorian.
But but also part Puerto Rican. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So that's why I don't understand why this changed so much. Yeah. Where the fuck did we go with this? Pokemon science. All right, so Sneasler is National Pokedex number 903. Did I say this already? I did, huh? Okay.
Actually, that's a sex move.
I feel like it was a lazy naming to Sneasler. Well, it's like saying like Climber and Sneasel put together. All right. Again, fighting and poison and fighting type for this one. This one evolves in Hisui from a Hisuian Sneasel by holding the sharp claw in the daytime, not the nighttime, like the previous one. But for this one, the professor wrote, the Hisuian professor wrote, because of Sneasler's virulent poison and daunting physical prowess, no other species could hope to best it on the frozen highlands. Preferring solitude, this species does not form packs. So very different from Weavile. Mm-hmm. It's much bigger and towering and stuff like that. So it doesn't do packs. A special Sneasler is worshipped in Hisui due to it being one of the 10 ancient Pokemon who received a blessing from Arceus. In particular, it is one of the ride Pokemon who resides in Coronet Highlands and assists humans. It allows you to climb. So in the game, This is the climber Pokemon.
Yeah.
So he carries you in that little basket. Did I
That's
show
cute.
you? Did I
Yes.
show you? Oh yeah, and it's like just your eyes popping
Yeah.
out from it. But yeah, that was Sneasel, Weavile, and Sneasler for Jaime's Pokedex this week. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So much from you, Jaime.
You're welcome.
All right. So, I mean, that's our show.
Yes, it is.
Next week, we have more MoonKnight.
Yeah.
We have more DMZ.
Are we going to watch Sonic 2?
I'm totally down for Sonic.
Let's do it. Then Sonic 2 is also coming out on the 8th, so we're going to try to catch that for the show.
All right. Sweet.
Yes.
So, Sonic 2 as well.
Yes, sir.
I like the first one.
Did you see it?
I watched it recently.
Oh, okay. I got to watch it.
It was on, I think it's on Hulu.
Oh, okay. Hulu.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll try to catch it today then, or soon.
Spread it out, Jaime.
Yes. Jose, don't start with me. I'm wearing a lab coat right now. I don't know what that. It's the theme of the show.
All right, so that's our show. Join us next week. We have more stuff coming.
Yes, sir.
And anything else to add?
No, I'm good.
All right, have a week.
Bye.